Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Cordell Transportation is now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers, excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply right now, online at CordellTransportation.com. Do it right now. Driven to succeed.
It's time for the fall haul at Northern Tool and Equipment. Get your hands on tough tools at prices that are tough to ignore. Got plans? Cancel them. Trucks in the shop? Borrow someone else's. Don't like saving money? Right. So head to the fall haul at Northern Tool. Stock up at the season's biggest event and get huge savings on brands like Milwaukee, Honda, and Ingersoll Rand. Shop at northerntool.com. We're made for this.
Picture a swimmer backstroking through a pool of lime jelly. Now picture yourself getting the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro. Now picture a lion and antelope hugging. Now picture yourself switching to Boost Infinite and getting the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Now picture that swimmer again, but this time it's you, and the pool is full of iPhones and baby ducks. Boost Infinite, infinitely better. Switch today. Just dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. Terms apply. After 30 gigabytes, service may be slowed. Receive a comparable iPhone model each year with an acceptable trade-in every year. Requires credit qualification and 36-month phone financing agreement. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station's network.
I should have had M&M's. Guess who's back?
back again.
You know, welcome back, Mr. Kev.
What's happening?
It's Kinner Kev Show, Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, no?
Good to have you back.
Good to be back, man. We had a little test run yesterday at Frickers Sunday morning tailgate show. Had a good time out there on the patio.
You just couldn't, you couldn't make it a whole week without seeing old Kin Dog over here. I'm just, it is what it is. But again, I hope everyone had a great weekend. A ton to dive into here today. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. Let me make sure you have the right mic. You're using your original.
I think
mic,
so.
Correct? Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We're good. Okay.
We're rolling and rocking.
All right. Awesome stuff. All right. Plenty to get into. The Cincinnati Bengals, are they back? They got a big win over the Cardinals yesterday, and what their own quarterback even said was a must win. That's what we'll open up with here today. We'll get into some Ohio State stuff coming up around the corner because I know, there's a lot to dissect there. I know we spent a lot of time on Ohio State yesterday during the Sunday morning tailgate show, but there's still a lot to dive into. The AP rankings came out after the show yesterday. I was surprised to see where they had Ohio State. I'm not angry about it. It was surprised. A lot of times Buckeye fans try to frame it as it's Ohio against the world and that, all the voters are against it. No one's against Ohio State. If anything, they're giving Ohio State a lot of the same treatment that they give some of the SEC programs that we complain about. So beggars can't be choosers as far as that's concerned. But I'm excited. KB is going to come in.
Nice.
College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars will jump in studio with us coming up here in just a bit. So let's just get into it. I know the Bengals fans want to talk about the Bengals. I want to talk about the Bengals too. It's been kind of weird. Like the NFL season kicked off a month and some change ago, but it hasn't been fun talking about the Bengals for you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I may have enjoyed it just a tad. I may have enjoyed
as he wipes his bangs.
I may have enjoyed their struggles a tad. But I don't know what to take away from yesterday, and that's the thing too. I'm here to tell Bengals fans that when you play poorly, you're going to get criticized. And when you play great and when you play well and when you win, you get praised. There isn't some secret formula out there. I'm not hating. The Bengals were bad for the first month of the season. You're 1-3. Even the win was bad. All right. The Rams win yesterday. Bengals fans should feel really good, Kev, about how the team looked yesterday. I will say this, even if the Cardinals would have ended up winning that game, the best thing about yesterday was that Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was able to escape the pocket. He was able to extend plays, pick up first downs. Him and Jamar Chase have a chemistry right now that is, I think, unmatched, as good as Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson are. I think that these two are as on sync, are on the same page as any quarterback wide receiver combo out there. Forget the result of it, Kev. The biggest takeaway yesterday, forget the fact that it was the Cardinals, forget the fact that, there was a W. The big takeaway is that that's a win that you could build on because you see that Burrow's back. When they beat the Rams last time, I'm like, it feels good for you guys to be in the W category, but there was nothing good about that win over the Rams other than the fact that it ended with you having more points than them. Yesterday felt different. You beat a bad team. You beat up on a bad team. Once you got rolling, they look like the better team. Joe Burrow looked like his old self. Still improvements needed for him as far as health-wise. But overall, Bengals fans should be very pleased because they didn't just win They won because of the play of their quarterback, and the play of their quarterback stemmed from improvement with his mobility, and that's what's going to take them to that next level if they're still, can go to that next level, that is.
All-around team victory for the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. I mean, we can talk about the Cardinals beating a bad opponent, but you go what? Bad opponents beat good teams all the time in this league. Just somehow, some way, they just find a way on any random Sunday to beat a good opponent, and the Cincinnati Bengals didn't allow that to happen to themselves. Even being stuffed on that 4th and 1 at the goal line, the defense turned around and got a pick 6. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Cam Taylor-Britt, he's a first-time starter this season. They decided to let go of their veteran safeties and everything like that, and boom, pick 6 from him. So that's a bonus. But the biggest takeaway, obviously, is the connection between Burrow and Chase. And the reason that that's important is because it wasn't, the quick bubbles. It wasn't the quick slants. It wasn't the quick game. It was the long ball. And they got the long ball going yesterday. The goal along with the short passes. And then, Joe can still run. Oh, he can escape the pocket still. So, being, you root for the Browns, I root for the Steelers, other people in the city root for the Baltimore Ravens with their 10 drop passes yesterday. It could turn back into scary hours for everybody if, that leg is truly healthy from Joe Burrow and they're starting to connect on those big plays again, because that's what their offense is truly built around, is the big play. It's very old school. Nobody really in this league does the 50, 60-yard bomb anymore. That's Dan Marino type of stuff. But the Cincinnati Bengals have the weapons to do that. They have the quarterback to do it. They obviously have the wide receiver to do it. They actually have 2 of them to do it. One didn't play yesterday, but the one that really does it very well, he had some comments yesterday or last week. I'm always bleeping open. Excuse my French. Well, guess what? He was open yesterday a lot, and he got the ball, 14 times yesterday? How many catches he had? 15. My bad. Excuse me. 15 catches for 192 yards and 3 touchdowns and a long of 63 yards.
So, and by the way, 19 targets. I mean, that's efficiency right there. The longest to 63 yarders you talked about. But yes, that relationship between those two, that chemistry between those two is killer, obviously. Trenton Irwin, second leading receiver, 8 catches, 60 yards. Tyler Boyd coming in 6 catches, 39 yards. They did this without T. Higgins yesterday. And the thing that's most interesting about that is that could be what the Bengals look like big picture moving forward. We don't know what the future of T. Higgins is. Obviously, with T. Higgins being out, you almost question, did that make it easier for them to focus on that game plan? Did that make it easier for them to say, did you just cut out? I think your camera just pumped up. We'll figure it out. But what'd it do?
It says try again. Go ahead.
No, we're good. We'll figure it out. But the bottom line is it's one of those situations where you have to wonder if T. Higgins' absence, you're not better without T. Higgins, but were they more comfortable yesterday because Joe Burrow wasn't focused on trying to get everyone involved? It was, okay, let's just continue to get Jamar Chase involved, and then everything else will rally behind it. Because if he's hot, the defense focuses on him, and then that opens up everything else.
Absolutely. I mean, it's good for everybody on that team that when the offense gets going, all the others, quote unquote, get going. You can't double both guys. You can't double Jamar. You can't double T. So it leaves everything open for everybody else. But guess what? If one is down, you still got a number one high quality wide receiver on your team. We kind of saw it last year when Jamar went down. T. Higgins stepped up into that quote unquote number one role, and it was productive. And that's when they kind of started their long winning streak and everything like that. It helps to have a number 3 like a Tyler Boyd. You know what I'm saying? That helps. But the guy that I was curious to see if we were going to see on the field a lot this upcoming weekend, considering that T. Higgins was not going to play, was Charlie Jones, the wide receiver from Purdue, who transferred from Iowa, balled out of control last year at Purdue, but he was hurt, so he didn't play. So who else steps up? The Irwin kid steps up. So it was a good performance from everybody involved, and mostly from Jamar Chase.
Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio as we're trying to figure. We got some new camera setups in here, so we're just kind of going through the bumps and the bruises a little bit. I don't even know how to heck to turn this dang thing off. Do you know where that power button is on there?
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But nonetheless, all right, 518-1410, 518-1410. Kinner and Kev, we are off and rolling here. Charlotte, sorry about that. The echo coming through. We got new cameras. We're trying some new stuff, trying to improve the quality of the look of everything that we have going on here on the Facebook page and YouTube. Check out the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Check out ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. That's where you can jump in on the conversation there. All right. So the thing is, Kev, we'll go without a camera until the break. That way I could just take a look to see what's going on there. No clue.
All good.
What's happening there. But so Dennis on Facebook jumps in and says it was the Cardinals. Calm down. Okay. That sounds like a comment that I would make. But I'm actually here to tell you that this wasn't about who they faced yesterday. You know, I mean, I had like Mark Smith. Where is Mark Smith, by the way? That are winning. Mark Smith might be the Bengals version of what you guys like to accuse Steve of Springboro doing. I'm just throwing that out there. But Mark Smith right away. Oh, and he hasn't said a word to me all month. When they've been losing, they win yesterday, and some of my old Bengals pals started, started chirping again. So he said, "Oh, I bet you're going to still give him a horrible grade. What grade do you give him now?" And I said, C ... for Cardinals. I mean, it's the Cardinals, right? But it was a joke. I don't really care who they played. I don't care if they played the worst team in the NFL. Maybe that is the Cardinals. I don't care if they beat up on the Bears. Whoever the worst team is, if they beat up on the worst team in the NFL, the bottom line is with the way Joe Burrow looked weeks 1 through 4 or whatever week we're in right now, they don't beat anybody. I don't care that they beat the Rams that day. Joe Burrow was god-awful. The Bengals offense, god-awful. They ranked dead last in every one of those categories. With as bad as we've talked about Zach Wilson looking for the Jets and as bad as Justin Fields has been for the Bears up until this past Thursday, there was a quarterback statistically ranked worse than the worst QBs in the league, and that quarterback was Joe Burrow. I wasn't hating. If you want me to say that he's playing great, that's ridiculous. And that says more about how delusional you guys could be at times than how delusional and a hater I could be. Bottom line is he looked good yesterday. Kev's a Steelers fan. I'm a Browns fan. We didn't like that. Yes, and it is wild. They're flirting with disaster, though, doing this 1-3 start every year and then bragging about coming back from it eventually. And it still might be, too late. Who knows? It's not too late because you look at the win category right now. They have the same amount of win as the Browns. They have the same amount of win as the Ravens, or win behind the Steelers, Browns. We'll get to your Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals are fine. They're fine, but they're only fine if Joe Burrow doesn't have a setback with his calf. That's going to be the big question.
See what, and I know we're going to talk about the Steelers and Ravens a little bit later on, but let me get to this first. The Cardinals, like I said this in the open, bad teams beat good teams in this league all the time. We can say whatever we want to about the Dallas Cowboys and them getting beat down by the San Francisco 49ers last night on Sunday Night Football. Get in line. San Francisco's basically blown out every opponent this season outside of the Rams. So that's nothing new. That's what the 49ers do to basically everybody. The Cardinals beat the Cowboys. I think we all can say, like, all right, man, maybe the Cowboys aren't a great team, but they're a good team.
Yep.
So a good team lost to a bad team. And in this case, you have to be wary about the Cardinals, especially if the Cincinnati Bengals going all the way to Arizona. It's a 4:00 game as opposed to a 1:00 game. All these things matter. And especially in this league where it comes down 9 times out of 10 to the fourth quarter. And then we always look at the playoff hunt and we start doing that around week 10, week 11. Every win counts. So getting this win, no matter if it is against the Cardinals by a point or 14 points, this is a good thing. And most importantly, like you said, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase looked like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase yesterday.
That's all you can ask for. 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation as we get this camera stuff figured out. We'll, of course, get everything ironed out. That's for sure. Dennis says, the Cardinals' defense is just not good. And you're right. They're not good. But that's what would make – you're making me defend the Bengals here. Like, this yesterday wasn't about who they played. The Cardinals are irrelevant, and that was actually I was kind of critical of their decision to continue to throw him out there and continue to play him. But I think that the Cardinals game yesterday, I think that was going to be the bar of which they set the standard of the season moving forward. If they lose to the Cardinals and the offense doesn't get going, I don't guarantee that they shut him down, but I think that they might have just said, okay, that's a season. We our goal is now just to keep the kind of offensive fluidity going and try to get him healthy and maybe make things interesting. But I think if they lose yesterday, if they would have lost yesterday, that's it. I don't think they're back. So that's the question. I threw it on the Facebook page. Are the Bengals back? Simple question, easy question. Kev Nash, are the Bengals back? That's the big question.
Yes, the Bengals are back simply because of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Had to bring it back to my team. The Ravens were not allowed to run away with the division.
Yep.
If the Ravens win yesterday versus Pittsburgh Steelers and are 3-0 in the division with winning every division road game, and then everybody has to go to Baltimore later on in the season, I would say it would be lights out for them. Do I believe my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers are a good football team? No, I don't. I think they're great on defense. I think they're good on special teams. I think they're horrible on offense. But somehow, some way, they find themselves in these fourth quarter games, and somehow, some way, Alex Highsmith makes a play, or TJ Watt makes a play, or Joey Porter Jr. makes a play, or Minka Fitzpatrick makes a play on defense, and somehow we throw a bomb to Pickens and we win the game. Hey, it's all good. Where there isn't. So I think every Cincinnati Bengals fan, if they ultimately win this division, should send a Pittsburgh Steeler fan a gift card, and that gift card can be sent to 717 East David Road, addressed to Kev Nash, because they beat them and they allowed any and everybody else to be alive for this division. Currently, the Pittsburgh Steelers are in first place. Do we think that's going to last forever? No, I don't. Do we believe that the Cincinnati Bengals are going to finish in dead last? I don't. Do we believe that the Browns aren't still in the hunt? I don't. I think they're still in the hunt. Every team is still in the hunt, and that is simply because the Pittsburgh Steelers were able to finesse a win out of the Browns and then finesse a win out of the Ravens. If they lose both those games, obviously Pittsburgh is in last place, but guess who's in first? The Baltimore Ravens, with a whole bunch of cushion. So it is truly there for everybody, and it's because of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
So are the Bengals back? It's a simple, generic question. It's very simple. I'm here to say are they back?
No, you can't add a caveat.
No. Like,
because I know what you mean. There's a difference between being back, but are they back?
No.
Like, so
they're math from a standings perspective, they're back. I don't know if they're back as a team. Look, they're trending in that direction. That's what you had to see that performance from Burrow yesterday. But the bottom line is Jamar Chase is not going to average 180 receiving yards a game. He's just not. All right. And I remember when the Cincinnati Bengals, when they moved on from Jesse Bates, when they moved on from Bell, me and you had a discussion. You didn't think that was that big of a deal. And I said it was going to be a big deal. And I think it has been a big deal. This is not the same defense from the previous seasons. The defense, the reason that they've been able to come back in previous years is because the defense put them in position where even when they weren't great offensively, they were still in games. This defense isn't that. So it's great to see Burrow show that he's healthier. It's great to see that Burrow is trending in that right direction. But at the same time, it's also one of those situations where that defense is not good enough right now to bail them out when they play Seattle next week. I mean, let's not forget the Titans. They're not a good team. They dismantled that defense. That defense that had nothing to do with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's calf hurting isn't why they couldn't stop anybody. And let's be clear, the Cardinals moved the ball pretty easily in the first half. They clamped down in the second half. But the Bengals kind of sucked the wind out of the tires, out of the air, if you will, for the Cardinals, because they just couldn't stop them. And it just kind of was like, okay, we're done. We can't do this. But at times, no, I don't think that they're back. I think they're still in it. I don't think they're back yet. I need to see more from Joe Burrow. What
is back? What do you define back as?
Looking like that unstoppable offense that they were a year ago. That offense was dominant, and even I couldn't deny that. I don't think that they're dominant right now.
So does any team in the league outside of San Francisco 49ers look as dominant as they did in previous years?
But some of their stuff is like we're trying to figure out who they are. We know who the Bengals are capable of, but unless he's 100% healthy, like how does he respond after dropping back close to 50 times again yesterday? He got hit a little bit yesterday. He was put in a little bit more oomph. I think this Bengals situation is different. This isn't one of those, a team that started out slow just because they're trying to piece things together. They're starting out slow for a variety of different reasons. The defense, of course, has some different pieces out there. The rookies that keep in mind too, the reason they also were able to turn things around so quickly, they were killing it in the draft in 19 and 20 and even 21. They didn't kill it in the draft in 22, and they didn't kill it with this draft. I mean, I like Dax, but I don't think that the young guys that they've drafted haven't emerged as these big time stars.
These dudes, this Cam Taylor-Britt and Dax Hill are going to be better players than Eli Apple.
Yes.
And they're going to be better than Von Bell. I think they're going to be better than Von Bell.
But right now, it's kind of
they're on their way up. Look, man. Eli Apple, Buckeye, love him, yada, 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 all that cliche stuff. Not a good football player, man. I'm going to just say it like that. Not a good football player. Look, he's been on the Giants, the Bengals, the Saints, the Dolphins. Dudes don't jump to team like that this quick in their career
Yep.
by being good football players. Not a good football player. It is what it is. Like, and it's no diss to him. You know what I'm saying? Okay, fine. But these dudes are upgrade. These dudes are far better football players than Eli Apple. So I think they're going to ascend as the season goes on. You already saw the big splash play yesterday from a pick six type of situation. I don't think that anybody in the league outside of the San Francisco 49ers are playing to, optimum levels. You know what I'm saying? Or to their peak of last year. I mean, you can look at the Kansas City Chiefs with the champs. I mean, you can look at the runner-up, this Philadelphia Eagles. Like, they're winning football games, but it's still a little wonky. Like, they're starting to turn it around a little bit. So I can't rely on that. I can definitely rely on what you're talking about with the calf. I mean, I think that is going to be a lingering issue. Now, him being able to scramble and move around in the pocket and actually uncork a deep ball, like, those are the things that say, wait a minute, is this calf healing? Because if it is, like I said before, it might be scary hours for me, you, and everybody else in the AFC North.
I ain't scared. I ain't scared. No. Yes, Joe Burrow's 100% healthy. It's a completely different animal. T. Higgins needs to be healthy too, because even though they won yesterday without him, and I will go here. I know I said it wasn't about who they played yesterday, but bragging about how the defense looked against the Cardinals, that is one of the worst offenses in the league. I know people keep bringing it. By the way, just a little warning here. The Cowboys losing doesn't bother me. Like, you're not winning an argument, like, because that's what's happening. They beat, Doug Toby. Oh, they beat your Cowboys. Yes, they beat the Cowboys. Guess what? The Cowboys was a team I loved growing up as a kid because I grew up in Texas. I don't care. They beat the Browns. I'm pissed off. I'm losing sleep. The Cowboys, I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. I love your family that loves the Cowboys, but I don't care. How about them Cowboys? I don't care about them Cowboys, to be quite honest with you. So nice try. So if that's what you're resorting to, because I'm making good points, and that's fine. But no, in all seriousness, Seattle will be a great test. They have very good wide receivers, a very, very good quarterback going up against a good offensive line. That D-line is going to get tested as far as that's concerned. And the secondary for the Bengals, as far as that goes. The 2 wins, I like the Rams. They're not a complete team. The Cardinals have some dudes, but they're not a complete team. Seattle's a complete team, and they haven't beat a complete team yet. Now, I'm not being unfair here. Like I said, now you went back-to-back games, back-to-back weeks of Burrow looking great. The problem is that defense, I'm still not a believer in it. Jamar Chase is not going to average 180 yards a game. So what happens if he just has an okay game of 70 to 80 yards, which that's still very good? Who's going to make up the production with T. Higgins out?
Trent Irwin, man.
And if so, then great. But that's what Joe Burrow is paid to make guys like Trent Irwin replace that production.
To his credit,
and
he did last week, and he had a couple plays last season when Jamar was out. So I think, it's really all about the calf. Yep. Like, we can talk circles around the offense, the defense, the special teams. What's up with the calf? Like, are you back or not? And that's the case. And that's the tricky thing about a situation like this. It may feel good this Sunday, it may not feel good the next Sunday. Like, that's the crazy thing about it. Like, it's not going to be healed until it's 100%. So you only get that with rest. So they got this game versus Seahawks next week, and then the bye week, and then they go out to San Francisco.
Trying to see that line, what the line is for next week. I know there's still a Monday Night Football game tonight, so they haven't moved over to everything for next week. But I do believe some of the lines are out. Yes. So let's go down. So the Cincinnati Bengals are a 2.5-point favorite at home against Seattle. I don't know. I'm not putting, this is a dangerous game to bet on because it's just, you don't know the range of who the Bengals can be. Everyone could be night and day from one week to the next, but because you just don't know the other elements too. What's the status of T. Higgins? The other thing too with the Bengals, remember all that, like when the run started with them, I kept saying, hey, like they had guys who were banged up from time to time, but they've been pretty fortunate. Last year they led the league facing more backup quarterbacks than any other team. Okay. That's not, you could spin that. Maybe I am, but I think that matters. Okay. When you run into good teams who don't have their starting quarterback out there, that matters. They've been fairly healthy. Jamar Chase missed a few games last year, but they went 3-1 during that stretch, and they didn't play good teams when he was out. Like even when they faced adversity, it's not like they've hit rock bottom. This team has been very fortunate. This is the bumpiest that the roller coaster has been since Joe Burrow's arrived here, because it was one thing for the appendectomy and all that. You knew the time frame you'd be back. Or that the team wasn't expected to be but during this run though, that's the thing too. Like, the Bengals' luck is kind of running out. Like, the defense isn't as loaded as it's been in years past. I like, by the way, a good way to word what you said earlier. The ceiling for the defense is higher with Dax and with Cam Taylor. It's not better than they were a year ago or the year before, but the ceiling I think is higher because of those guys and because they're on rookie contracts, so you're going to be able to be flexible. It's where Von Bell and those guys, you were paying them, and Jesse Bates, you would have had to pay. I don't mind. I don't blame them for moving on from Jesse Bates because you had to prioritize position. You paid Joe Burrow and you're about to pay Jamar Chase at the expense of guys like him. So we'll see what ends up happening. Kinner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. We hug the mics. It's your guys' turn. 518-1410. Simply put, are the Bengals back? They didn't just beat the Cardinals. They beat the Cardinals because of their quarterback. Their quarterback looked back yesterday. Are the Bengals back? 518-1410. We'll load up the phone lines and we'll get your response when we come back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. PRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. PRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at PRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. If you're a dad who's facing divorce, there are extra layers of stress that may include stereotypes and assumptions. No two situations are the same. Our legal experience and dedication prepare us for whatever legal challenges we face together. You need a partner you can count on. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has represented men in divorce.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We appreciate all of our listeners and, of course, our sponsors. In fact, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We take pride in being Dayton's only local afternoon sports talk show right here in the Miami Valley. If you would like to jump in as a sponsor of our show or promote your services within our show, all you have to do is reach out to us directly by texting us at 937-518-1410. Want Kevin and I to endorse your business and services? Just text us. You want to promote an open house, a grand opening, new location, or any other kind of service? Just text us. Bottom line is that we are here to help spread the word and help grow your business. Text us today, 937-518-1410, and we'll give you all of the information that you need to start promoting your business on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Hey, I'm College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars, and I'm here with John Glazier from Glazier Softwater. Did you know we are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Yes, I did. But did you know that Glazier Softwater is the home of the 7-year worry-free parts and labor warranty? We've been making water great since 1988. What were you doing in 1988?
That was my third year in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. I had 10 touchdowns that season, and we made the playoffs in 1988.
So you can say that we both have been doing great since 1988. Glazier Softwater. Glazier water is better water.
We got the Buckeye Roundtable coming up later on this evening, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock every Monday night. You just can't get enough Buckeye out. I think Buckeye fans have to feel pretty good after the win this past weekend, mainly just because a win is a win. I don't know if big picture, Kevin and I discussed this yesterday. There's a lot not to be concerned about, but there's we're at the point now of the season where there's some things you'd like to see Ohio State button up. And Kevin and I will definitely dive more into that coming up here throughout the show and throughout the week. That's cool. But I wanted to spend a little time on the Bengals open up because it's been a rough start to the season for the third straight year now. And it's finally a win that Bengals feel good about. So this isn't like a slow start because he missed some preseason time. This is a slow start because the offense is built around his ability to extend plays. Even when the O-line's not great, he overcompensates with it with his ability to pop out of the pocket, make some plays, yada yada. So he did that yesterday. But he's played every single game, at the expense of his team, hurting his team in weeks past. But yesterday, finally, and everyone's like, I can't believe you're an idiot. You actually wanted them to bench him. Statistically, the worst quarterback in the NFL. It's not like I meant shut him down and cut him and all this stuff. But yes, there was a point, Kevin. I don't think it was a hot take or me being a hater. There were stretches where it's like I know the backup situation's bad, but your offense is non-existent with him out there. Yesterday, that was definitely not the case. They have a lot to feel good about considering how comfortable he looked, and that injury just didn't seem to impact him or that offense, and him and Jamar seemed to pick up where they left off at the tail end of last year.
Yeah, my biggest question is this going to be something that, all right, this past Sunday, I felt great. I can do everything that I normally do, and then the following Sunday is going to be feels tight again. It feels like it's going to pop. Let me chill in the pocket. So, that's the biggest question mark for the Cincinnati Bengals. From week to week, how is he going to play? We all know how he plays when he's healthy, but how is he going to play when he's not healthy? This is totally different from a separated non-throwing shoulder. This is different from a broken finger on a different hand. This is totally different from a twisted ankle or a turf toe. This is a path where he's generating power to throw the football. So this is one of those iffy type of situations. And it's not as easy to say, all right, let's shut him down, because if it's a separated throwing shoulder, obviously he's not going to play because he can't play. You can't throw the ball when you got a separated shoulder. But with this situation, kind of comes and goes. So we're going to see.
Yeah. So the question is are we celebrating them this week? I know me and Kev may not be technically celebrating. Actually, to be fair, we're Kev Nash, AFC North talk here today. There's a lot to celebrate for you. And as a Browns fan, it pained me to say this. I was kind of glad that the Steelers won yesterday because talking about for the Bengals back, the door has been not slammed shut. Mainly, even if they would have lost yesterday, that door still wouldn't have been slammed shut. The Bengals losing because the Ravens lost.
Right.
The Steelers getting that win yesterday was a half a win for the Browns. It was a half a win for the Bengals because now it keeps everyone within the game of one another. From that standpoint, from the division talking standpoint, as we sit here a month and some change into the season, are the Bengals back? It's not that they're back, but they're not out of it. I don't think the Bengals are back, but they're definitely not out of it because of the Steelers win yesterday. Are they back based on what we know they need to look like to continue this run that they've been on the last couple? I think they're trending in that direction. I don't think they're back yet. I think this defense is different. I think this team is different without T. Higgins, and I think even with T. Higgins out there, for whatever reason, I don't know if the injury is what has led to some weird stuff between them, but I think the contract negotiation isn't helping. I think there's just a lot of stuff that it's distractions now for a young team that I kept saying for years. It's easy right now. There's not a lot of distractions. It's just a bunch of young dudes who are taking in their new, careers in the NFL. Well, now they're settled in. This isn't new to them anymore. This is their career. Joe Burrow's been around for, he's paid.
Mm-hmm.
T. Higgins has been around since Joe Burrow got here. Jamar Chase is his year, 3 or 4? there's outside noise now that didn't exist in years past. I think that matters. How they navigate through it will be a determining factor, I think, moving forward.
Absolutely, 100%. Every team has to deal with this. Every team and every player has to deal with this when they start dealing with success. And like that's like kind of like the biggest thing for like, we talk about college football all the time when those quote unquote upstart teams every year that pops up that are like 5-0 and then they're going in to face Alabama or Ohio State, and like how are they going to handle themselves after being praised all week and going into this big matchup versus Ohio State or Alabama?
Yep.
Like we saw this last week with Kentucky, like after they manhandled Florida. Like how are Kentucky guys are going to handle this now that they got to go play, the number one team, the defending champs and everything like that? Well, they didn't handle it too well because Georgia went Georgia on Kentucky and everything like that. So this is a natural thing that happens in every aspect, in every single sport out there. Young guys, start to get commercials. Young guys get tons of endorsements. Young guys are always open and not getting the ball enough, and then they want the ball, and then you get the ball 15 times and you produce touchdowns. That'll put a smile on everybody's faces. So a smile on Jamar's face, a smile on Chase's face, a smile on the coach's face, and definitely a smile on all the Cincinnati Bengals fans' faces. This is just one of those things that happens on every single team across every aspect of sports, and that's why it's the coach's job to keep a loose locker room and keep everybody engaged, because everybody still has the same common goal is still, win the division, go to the playoffs, win the Super Bowl and everything like that. But week-to-week goals, is to win the football game first and foremost. So it's up to coach to keep everybody in line. Look, the main guys are going to be the main guys. The main guy is going to get the ball, and that main guy is Jamar Chase. And everybody else, you have to play your role. And I think for the most part, he's done that. I mean, he's done that for the last 2 years. I mean, we both talk about how good T. Higgins is. I think Cincinnati Bengals fans know how good T. Higgins is. But let's be clear, like, Jamar Chase is the explosive one of them. He's the one that everybody gravitates towards. He's the number one, and everybody knows he's the number one. And that's up to coach to make sure everybody understands he's the number one. You're my good number two. You're an outstanding number two. You're my very good number three. But we're going to number uno when we really need something.
Yeah, and the way they looked yesterday without T. Higgins, that, like I said earlier, I think that's big picture. Their identity. Nobody knows Tyler Boyd moving forward. I mean, this year, yes. Big picture, no. Big picture, no. No more Tyler Boyd. You're looking at an offense that it looks like they're going to go all in with this. Joe Burrow, the highest paid quarterback in the league. Jamar Chase at one point will be the highest paid receiver in the league. That's unprecedented. That hasn't been done before. They're going to go in that direction because we saw it yesterday. When push comes to shove, those two are going to will you to wins, at times. I don't know. T. Higgins is really good. He gives you more bang for your buck, but will T. Higgins will you to wins? There is a gap between him and Jamar. There's talks of, they're two legitimate number ones. T's a number one. He's a very solid number one, but your elite number ones, like your Tyreek Hills, like your Justin Jeffersons, as much as I freaking can't stand him. Jamar Chase, I respect the hell out of him, Kev, because that dude talks a lot, but he has the freaking cojones to go and back it up. Like, I'm always effing open. Man, shut up. We're like, what the hell? Like, just be quiet. He's always effing open. I got nothing to say. He backed it up. And I don't expect him to drop 180 yards every week to be considered backing it up, but kudos to him. I was impressed. Very good for the Bengals. There you go. See, guys? We're good.
Hope you guys were taping.
Yeah, but all right, so are the Bengals back? Let's head to the comment section. Tyler Fife on Facebook, Kev. I do not think that the Bengals are back yet, only because I'm worried about the defense. I understand they have a young safety and corners, but with how many missed tackles I watched yesterday and last Sunday against the Titans, it has me worried, honestly. That was my point. I don't think that they're back. As long as Burrow is back, they're back, because that's the best opportunity they have to win. But I do think this team is not the same as in years past. This defense is not going to bail them out when that offense has sluggish weeks. They bailed them out a lot. Bailed them out through the playoffs. Y'all got mad at me. They bailed them out in the playoffs when Joe Burrow and the offense wasn't good. The last 2 years, that defense, I don't think is going to bail them out based on what we see now. We're talking some college football in a bit. I keep prefacing my opinion of the Buckeyes is based on who they are at this moment. It's not who I think they're going to be in November. Same thing with the Bengals. It's who I think they are at the moment. It's not what I think they're going to look like coming up here in a week, 2 weeks, a month, who knows. But, yeah, that's a good point. Good job.
Yeah, I get what they're saying. Like, I mean, but what cornerback tackles? Like, is there any cornerback out there besides the cornerback that plays for the San Francisco 49ers that makes tackles? Like, I really can't think of anything.
the
Like-
Bengals defense was this a show, this would be it right now. Well, why is it coming down to them tackling?
Linebackers.
That's a
It's
fair
the,
question.
it's the very good linebackers. The linebackers are the guys, the leaders and the anchors of that football team. Like, I know the rush ends and Sam Hubbard and all those guys get all the love because he's a Buckeye and stuff like that. But it's about Pratt and Logan Wilson. Those are the leaders of the defense. Those are the anchors of the defense. Like, you can't do the things that you're able to do on defense without those two dudes. They need to play better. And Pratt, to his credit, he played better yesterday. Got an interception, and stuff like that. So I just think I hear this term that's floated around a little bit lately. The first 4 weeks of the regular season are preseason games now that actually count. I hear this phrase floated around a little bit. A lot of that is always focused on the offense because the offense isn't clicking. It's clunky. Like, I started hearing that phrase, especially around the Philadelphia Eagles, because Jalen Hurts and that offense isn't clicking like they were, towards the back end and the Super Bowl and everything like that. Well, the same thing goes for the defense. And to talk about my team a little bit, we got blew out last week by the Texans. CJ Stroud and the Texans blew us out. And, credit to CJ, but it was really their offensive line and their run game that all the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Coach Tomlin said we're going to a padded practice because we're not playing physical enough. We're not tackling. We're, throwing shoulders into people instead of, wrapping up legs. So we're doing a padded practice. And there's no mystery why, according to the stats, the Steelers only missed 2 tackles yesterday. First, one of the most dynamic guys in the NFL. Shouts out to all the Ravens wide receivers for dropping 10 passes again, by the way. So I think it's simply that. I think not only the offense needs more reps, but the defense is going to get more reps. I honestly think the Cincinnati Bengals defense is going to get a lot better than they are currently, unfortunately, for me and you. So when I wanted to really kind of talk about the Steelers win versus the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm watching that game, and it's so putrid watching that game because I look at my offense and I think to myself, why can't we do anything right? We can't run the ball. We can't throw the ball. We can't do anything right. And then I'm reminded about halfway through the second half where the Baltimore Ravens only have 10 points on the board, and we have 3 points on the board. Well, we're only down a touchdown. All it takes is one big play, and that's what we got. Not only did we get a big play, we got multiple big plays. We got a block punt, and we hit Pickens for the game-winning touchdown and everything like that. So, in reality, you can't play football like that in 2023. That is a year 1995 way of playing football. You're going to have to score points to win these games. You have 10 turnovers. 10 turnovers. You caused 10 turnovers in 3 victories for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You caused 1 turnover in the 2 losses. If you're asking your defense to get you 2 and 3 turnovers a game just to win a game by 4 points, that's not going to get you very far throughout the rest of the season. But at this current moment, the Pittsburgh Steelers are leading the AFC North. And if somebody would have told me that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be in first place in the AFC North going into our bye week, I would have laughed in their face after what I saw in week 1 versus San Francisco 49ers.
So, you ready for this?
Go for it.
Myles Garrett's better than Watt. He's not. You win. He's not. Myles Garrett is dominant, and there's nothing wrong with having Garrett over Watt. But Watt, I don't know. It's just wild. He is every big play. He has won. He should be in the MVP conversation right now. You talk about Pittsburgh being, want to talk about Christian McCaffrey, how it's one of those things where it's weird talking about him being in the MVP conversation. He deserves to be there.
Yeah.
But because the Steelers are where they're at, because they're at the top of the division, because they're over 500, because they've beat up on everyone in the damn division at this point, pretty much. They haven't played the Bengals.
They haven't played the Bengals yet, no.
But you beat the Ravens. Watt beat the Browns. Watt just beat the Ravens. Watt is literally winning football games. Myles Garrett contributes towards wins, but he's not going out and physically winning football games. Watt irritates the living hell out of me. I was happy when they won, but you have no idea. I thought of you right away. I was pissed when I saw who it was that ended up picking up that damn ball. But you got to be kidding me. You got to be. He didn't even get the sack. He just scooped. I'm like, this is ridiculous. That dude just But that's that it factor, man. And Myles Garrett has a different kind of it factor, but there's not a guy in the league that is on the defensive side of the ball that is wrecking havoc and physically winning games. Defense, you need defense to win championships, but like when you watch Pittsburgh, their defense is literally winning them games.
Yeah.
Cleveland statistically has one of the best offenses in the league. It's not physically winning them games; it's keeping them in games. That's the difference. So I figured you'd
Appreciate that. So from my perspective,
just remember when they're last, though.
It
could. Who knows?
It probably will. So, like, my whole thing is obviously, I think we talked about this before we cracked the mics. There's three facets to the game. There's obviously offense, defense, and special teams. Steelers defense was better. Steelers special teams was better, even though they got the best kicker since Vinatieri. Coaching probably about even, but you know what? Tomlin got the click up because I have no idea why Harbaugh didn't kick the field goal for the half to make it 13-0. That offense for my Pittsburgh Steelers can't do anything right. If you ask them to score 2 touchdowns in the game, they will not be able to do it. If the Baltimore Ravens kick that field goal to make it 13-0 at halftime, they win that football game. We're not even talking about the 10. 10. How do you drop 10 passes in one football game? I mean, Andrews dropped 2. Zay Jones dropped 3. Nelson Aguilar dropped probably a Joe Montana couldn't have threw a better pass than that. I mean, dudes are dropping passes all over the place. Bateman dropped a touchdown. So they dropped 3 touchdown passes. And love Stephen A. Smith. I know a lot. He's a polarizing guy, but I really love Stephen A. Smith. He said one of the craziest things. He said they need more out of Lamar. I'm not sure what else Lamar could do besides basically hand the ball to them dudes when they're in the end zone. I mean, I'm at a loss for how professional wide receivers and that many, like normally, we make this joke about OBJ and the stone hands and everything like that. And, it's a concentration thing. I've never seen a team of wide receivers drop that many passes. I've seen guys just have the yips and they just can't catch the ball. But every wide receiver dropped at least 1 pass yesterday for the Baltimore Ravens. I am blown away at that they dropped so many passes, and they're like zooming in on the camera on Lamar on the sideline. Like, yeah, he's thrown his helmet down quite a few times a day. I wonder why. Like, that game should have been over 4 times. And I'm watching the game with the wife, and I tell her, like, these are the games that we win. It's like, there's no way. Like, y'all can't do anything on offense. They pin them deep with the punt. They go 3 and out, block punt. 5-10, like a baseball score, for goodness sakes. I was like, we're in it. We got a chance. Go down there, kick another field goal, for goodness sakes. 10-8. Then they punt it back to us. We cough it up on the punt. They get the ball. They're about to go score. Great play by Joey Porter Jr. with the interception, and then the home run pass to Pickens. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it's insane how this game is played out, but they still got a chance because this is what Lamar does. And then, boom, now up J.J. Watt for the sack for the victory. So I loved it. I don't love what we look like on offense because I know long term that's just not going to be enough. 7 points out of your offense is just not going to be enough. A touchdown. And think about it like this. The Steelers have scored on big plays. They scored a big play against the Browns on offense from Pickett. And then same thing yesterday with the Ravens. They did the same thing with the Raiders. They're not able to drive the ball down the field. Right. There's 3 plays all season. There's 3 plays. You have to be able to drive the ball down the field and score, man. They can't do it. They simply can't do it. They can't string together enough consistent plays to drive the ball down the field. So what they're betting on is, all right, when we get to the 50, if we get to the 50, if we see Pickens one-on-one, throw it up there. That is bad. And as much as I love Coach Tomlin, love him to death, as much as we talk about, man, how well coached this defense is, how well coached this special teams is, how come the offense isn't well coached? How can that possibly be? You are one of the best coaches in the NFL. You're going to be a Hall of Fame coach. How can how can 2/3 of the team be coached to perfection and this side of the ball isn't? I'm clueless. I have no answers. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
So, and again, Bengals, we'll get back to that in a moment. While we're on the Steelers, I mean, you were talking before the show. The Bengals lose when they win. Or the Steelers lose when they win right now. They're not a good football team. They are a very, very freaking good defense. For everything you just talked about, that offense and everything like that, like every time when they keep winning because of defense, that's the Steeler, right? That's that moniker, like that's the Steeler, like that's the identity of the Steeler franchise going back decades and decades. And that's great that that defense exists. But when you look at the teams that are in position to win Super Bowls year in and year out, it's not the most dominant defense. Now, you can say the Niners. Well, there's no money invested in that quarterback position. Okay, that's why the Steelers have that. But the Steelers, to really go to that next level, they have to have a legitimate quarterback. All of this means that's great that Watt's doing what he's doing, but I'm telling you right now, Cleveland's a disaster more times than not. I'm more comfortable with an owner that's willing to spend and maybe try to dig yourself out of problems than an owner who, well, no, look, we have a coach that's never had a season under 500, and it's just accepting mediocrity at the expense of winning the big thing. I just think that winning like that, it almost hurts you. Like yesterday, I do think the Steelers would have been better off. Wow, does this sound? Big picture, because lose another one because your offense got bailed out again yesterday. Every time, and I talked about this in real life work settings, when companies continue to get bailed out by employees, there's no need to change. So every time the Steelers win at the expense of the bad deep like Cleveland, they put up what was the score? It was like 26 to what? So it was 26 to 22. You take away the 14 points, we're talking Cleveland winning 22 to 12. Right? Like that's horrendous if you're a Steelers fan. You want to talk about the win yesterday? You take away that touchdown. I mean, like that they had no business winning that football game yesterday. Now, great for the defense. It sounds weird me saying, Kev, it's a bad thing to win, but it's just prolonging what needs to be done. Like they should be losing these games because of how bad that offense is. Matt Canada should not be the head coach or the offensive coordinator. But you guys won yesterday, so how bad could he be, right? Like that's the problem. It's like you keep winning, but it's not a formula that's going to lead to big picture winning. That's where I would be concerned if I'm you or a Steelers fan.
So for me, I look at it two aspects. One, if I was able to ask somebody that's really connected to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would ask them, okay, how much power truly does Coach Tomlin have? So if it is, he has complete autonomy of the football organization, my question would be exactly what I asked before. How come the special teams is coached to perfection? The defense is coached to perfection. They are a buttoned-up organization because he's the leader of the ship. How come the offense looks like this? That would be my question. If he is able to have autonomy of the football operations. And then my second question, if he's not, then what are the Rooneys thinking looking at that offense? Because, I mean, they've been the owners of this franchise for decades and won Super Bowls and yada, yada, yada. Nobody thinks that's good enough. Obviously, nobody thinks that's good enough. So who's the person allowing Canada to stay employed? Who's the person? Is it upper management? Is it the ownership? Is it the GM? Is it the coach? So whenever they answer me who's responsible, that's who my ire shall be directed at. It's not directed at Matt Canada anymore because he's just going to continue to do what he do. So my ire would be directed at whomever is responsible for keeping him on staff. And let's be clear, he's going to finish the season. They're not going to fire him throughout the season. My ire would come if he's the offensive coordinator next season. When what's my guy from the Dallas Cowboys, the OC? That's the OC out in
Kellen Moore.
When he came available, I was begging them to call him. When Frank Wright, even though he ended up getting a head coaching job in Carolina, I was begging, dial him up. Dial up Leftwich. He was the offensive coordinator with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Dial him up. Like, they need something else. So when I look at those games, and you kind of talked about it last year with these last-minute victories that the Steelers were getting last year, engineered by Kenny Pickett and everything like that. If that's in him, which he was able to do yesterday, if that's in him for what he did last season and this year, that has to be in him more consistently. So what I'm thinking is, hey, man, let's get rid of Canada in the offseason, get somebody else in here, and let's truly see if he is the guy. Because we know Matt Canada isn't the guy. I don't think Kenny Pickett is the guy, but I think we're doing ourselves a disservice with Matt Canada being in charge of the offense. So that's my only thing. Who is allowing him to stay on? Is it ownership? Is it the GM? Is it the head coach? Answer that for me. Then I will stop saying fire Matt Canada, and I will say, hey, Tomlin, hey, GM, hey, ownership, why is he still employed?
The other thing to keep in mind, like the NFL now, like Joe Burrow drafted, knew who he was. He's gonna be good, right? CJ Stroud, Houston's not a great team. They're better than we've done. He looks the part. Anthony Richardson looks the part. We're going to stay healthy. The problem is, I think you are being too patient with Kenny Pickett. You either have it or you don't. Like it's the NFL now. Like the quarterbacks are coming in, and Brock Purdy was the last draft pick of the.
But look at the offenses they're running. Look at the style of offense. I watched the Pittsburgh Steelers ad nauseam. I know exactly the plays that are coming. If they're under center, it's a run. If it's in shotgun, it's a pass. Like if I know that, and my football knowledge goes to high school, I know the professionals know that. So you look at the innovation that's being brought by the Dolphins, by the 49ers, by all these other teams. There's tons of motion. It's not really about like, hey man, I'm a better athlete than the guy across from me. I'm gonna beat him one-on-one. No, it's to create conflict. It's to create mismatches. It's to create confusion, to say, no, I got him. No, you got him. No, I got him. Oh, he's busted coverage wide open. Like we look at the Dallas Cowboys. We think the Dallas Cowboys got a really good defense until they went up against the 49ers and they got 42 hung up on them. It's the motion. They lining up fullbacks and wide receiver, then motion the wide receiver into the slot position. They're out there. Hey, no, you got him. Hike touchdown, because you don't know what you're doing. The Steelers don't do any of that. They go to the huddle, come to the line of scrimmage, blue 42, hike. It's no creativity. So for me, you look at those other teams, they have younger guys and more innovative guys. They have Indianapolis has the old OC from the Philadelphia Eagles. He's running the show. They're running, quote unquote, the Philadelphia Eagles offense. You look at what the Dolphins are doing. It's tons of motion. It almost looks like they're running arena league type of stuff down there in Miami. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensively, so whoever wants to do this, if it's the head coach, if it's the GM, if it's the ownership, they're out there running plays like it's 1995, and it's not. So I don't think he's the guy. I just don't know, because you're putting him in a system where, like they ran more advanced stuff when he was in college than they're running right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got to fix it.
Yeah, it's just like in the NFL now. I mean, we see quarterbacks play well on bad teams, and you're right. It's the system matters, but I don't know what's a good system. The stealing for Kenny Pickett, it's not good enough. Like if Deshaun returns to form, Kenny Pickett, let's say he improves with a better system. He's not Deshaun, assuming he improves. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's definitely not Joe Burrow. He's not CJ Stroud. As of right now, 5 games into his career, CJ Stroud looks as good as anyone.
Right.
Maybe not Anthony Richardson. He's not, obviously, Patrick Mahomes. He's not Tua Tagovailoa. So it's that. And when you have this many elite running quarterbacks coming out of this next year's draft, trying to be a 500 team, when you know you're not good enough to potentially win this division unless everyone crumbles around it, knowing you're not good enough to win the Super Bowl, what are you doing? Like, this is why I hate rewarding bad teams. Because the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing it right. We should be saying good for them for not tanking and good for them for not trying to lose. But you're not bettering yourself. This is going to be how many straight years? Now, who knows? Pittsburgh go on just win this damn division and do
Let's hope
something.
so.
It's weird. But the bottom line is if Tomlin extends his his season streak of not finishing under 500, and you either miss the playoffs by a game or you get destroyed in the wild card again, where we go? Like the direction doesn't make any sense. Like Cleveland's a mess. But I like the weapons that they have, and I feel like they just have a better shot, big picture, than the Steelers do at this moment, and the Browns are a disaster of a franchise. So it's just weird. Like, it's just strange. The Steelers get a pass, the Patriots don't. Everyone just loves crapping all over Belichick. He doesn't do himself any favors, but let's be clear. Oh, Bill Belichick. See, it was all Tom Brady. You can't. There's not a coach out there that can win without a good quarterback. Like, it just is that simple. I'm not saying that he's perfect everywhere else, but any team without an elite quarterback, you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything big picture wise. You give Bill Belichick an elite quarterback. If he would have got Aaron Rodgers, all of a sudden Bill Belichick just knows how to coach football again. No, it just makes everything like that's how you win in this league. Period. Anyways,
man, they have been waiting. They've been waiting on this Belichick thing. They've been waiting. The fans have been circling, waiting. The media has been circling, waiting, because when you're winning championships and winning 12, 13 games a season, you can be as snarky and as dry in these post-game press conferences as you want. When you start losing, 34-0 and 24-0 and back-to-back weeks or whatever the score is, people pounce. And no matter if you're potentially the greatest head football coach of all time, like, they're talking like about firing Belichick. Oh my goodness.
I'm firing Belichick. Look, right now, the Patriots 1-4?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, watch, and this is what's going to happen, Kev. You get Caleb Williams or Drake May, and all of a sudden Belichick knows how to coach again. Because this league, it's very, very simple. Who's your quarterback? Like, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. It's who's your quarterback. The Bengals were a disaster. Even when they had Andy Dalton and they were winning games, it didn't feel right. It's like Pittsburgh when they win. It's like, well, it's cool. But
the Bengals wasn't that bad as
no, they weren't. That's disrespectful to Andy Dalton. My apologies. But you see my point. Like, winning has to, like, I don't know. It's just kind of one of them wild things.
It has to look a certain way.
It has to look a certain way. Because,
and that's the kind of conversation my brother and I were having the other day. Well, yesterday after the game, we were both like obviously in disbelief that we were able to pull it off. And I was like, man, you know what? It only matters if you look good on offense, because you can have a sieve for defense, but if you have a fireproof offense, it's all good. But the Steelers have a great defense, very good on special teams, god awful on offense. And they're squeaking by, but everybody, including their fan base, is like, this ain't it. Because you know what? It's 2023. It ain't it. You can't win big like this long term. You can't. You're not physically going to be able to hold up this long. You really think that Alex Highsmith and T.J. Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick can do this for 16, 17 games? Impossible. I mean, you saw that versus the Texans. You can't ramp yourself up to do that, to say, all right, man, I know my offense is going to give me a whopping 1 touchdown. We got to go out here and pitch shutout. You can't operate like that, especially when your offense is going 3 and out. It'd be totally different, like, if it's ground and pound and, like, all right, they're converting. They don't convert third downs either. So they're right back on the field. You can't physically hold up as many plays as a plan on defense long term. The offense has to be able to start driving the ball down the field. I love the big plays just like everybody else, but they have to drive the ball down the field and take some time off the clock so your star players like Highsmith and T.J. Watt can get a rest so they can wreak havoc more consistently. If you're out there on defense for 65 plays and your offense is only giving you 20, you're not going to win a lot of football games like that.
Now, last thing on the Steelers on the way out.
What about
you? Imagine Pickens with a Caleb Williams, a Drake May, and with the quarterback at Washington. I mean, look at all that talent coming out.
Who's coaching?
In your support. I mean, but the thing is, coaches will come and go pretty fast, in and out. But Kenny Pickett, I don't think his issues are because of Matt. I mean, Matt Canada is doing him no favor.
Exactly.
But the thing is, you could see if a quarterback has it or not.
Yeah.
And I don't think Kenny Pickett. And what glimpses he's shown is how much better is he than Zach Wilson? Where is he compared to Baker? Let me ask you: are the Steelers better if they have Baker Mayfield?
Who's coaching? I truly think that. I heard them talking about this on Get Up this morning. Brock Purdy wouldn't be Brock Purdy if he didn't play for the San Francisco 49ers.
Maybe
if you throw, I'm not sure who you throw into this offense and calling the offense the way this offense is being called, that it would operate. Like I just don't. It's multiple. It's not just one guy. It's multiple things. I think one is gonna have to go for sure. And after we give Kenny Pickett a different offensive coordinator and give you a chance, and you don't show us something, then you're next.
I'm a Steelers fan. I'm praying that Watt goes down.
You would say that as a Browns fan.
No.
Play my audio.
Listen. Look, that's out. It got dropped by something
Where's
else.
my beer?
Yes, you are back. I kind of forgot about it. Someone did say, I tell you what, if the Steelers beat somebody, they'll buy you, since Kinner won't, I got you covered. Last thing on this is everything you say makes sense about the scheme. Who's the coach? Joe Burrow's the quarterback of the Steelers right now. Matt Canada included. They're significantly better. Lamar Jackson, they're significantly better. Like, I know what you're saying, but like, if everything has to be exactly perfect for Kenny Pickett to win football games, like Joe Burrow overcomes being sacked 70 times. Lamar Jackson overcomes having no one to throw the football to. Deshaun Watson, I have nothing for him. But Aaron Rodgers, keep going down the list. The bottom line that, no first round, his team never drafted him an offensive weapon in the first round his entire existence in Green Bay until they drafted his replacement. Every elite quarterback that you want to go to battle with for the next decade overcomes something. Kenny Pickett's not overcoming anything. Joe Burrow could overcome. I'm not saying they win a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh if he's their quarterback with Matt Canada, but it would look. There's just a lot of limitations. They're not doing. He's not helping Canada. Canada's not helping him, and winning games isn't helping you.
Oh yeah, it is.
So while
I get to smile on Sunday.
But Kev, look at this. So okay, who's in? Let me see some of these teams in last place.
We're not in last place.
You're not.
We're in first place.
You're not. But
sole possession of first place.
So how are you going to feel when the Patriots and Bill Belichick get a Drake May or Caleb Williams and in a year are better than Pittsburgh just like that?
No, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to the Bears.
How
together.
Are you good? And that's great. A dysfunctional organization, when they surpass the Steelers and are more of a threat than them, then what? I'm just this isn't me being Kinner. Just having that would concern me when the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, you just drop a quarterback in there and hope, depending on what he looks like coming back. What do you do? The Jets all of a sudden just magically better than the Steelers. Like when all these teams keep getting quarterbacks because they do what I hate, and that's tank. That's what's working. So the Steeler way, that's great. You have a coach who could brag about, I've never had a losing season, but what does that mean for Pittsburgh? It's not meaning a hell of a lot. That's my only point. Non-trolling.
Play my audio.
I don't have that. Wait, hold up. Maybe. No, I don't. I'm sorry, man. I did. I got
play my audio.
What's you telling me? Hey, Dion. Hey, play my theme music. We went way over. Look, the clock management is as bad. My clock management with this show today is as bad as what? Maryland's coach is as bad as Miami's coach. How about that?
Oh, man.
Unbelievable. Ohio State. How about that SEC bias, everyone, that everyone hates? It's only you hate it when it doesn't benefit you, but when Ohio State gets that same kind of bias the SEC teams get, all of a sudden it's okay, right? They are not the number 3 team in the country, not even close. Let's just get that out of the way. Let's transition over to the next part of the conversation. I already saw the side eye from Kev. There he is. By the way, we're Dayton's radio home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Tune in tonight to the Buckeye Roundtable. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
This is Keith Byars for Superbook Sports. You spend valuable time thinking about which bets to place each week. So why wouldn't you want the best company in the business to be the one who handles those bets? Superbook Sports is the most trusted name in Las Vegas, and it's now live right here in Ohio for all your sports wagering needs. Superbook has a team of dedicated odds makers behind the counter in Las Vegas setting all the prices. We're talking about guys with decades of experience showing you why Superbook has the best odds around. And right now, you can look ahead to hockey and hoops postseason and place a bet on who you think will take home the title. So download the Superbook Sports app or visit superbook.com to wager and win today. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-589-9966. Call 1-800-589-9966. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-589-9966. Call 1-800-589-9966.
Everyday values are at only one place, Frickers. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday is all about that steak. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Frickers, where kids 10 and under eat free every day. Remember draft beer specials, everyday values, and kids eat free every day. The home for money-saving value is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for the best venue for your upcoming event or party? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. It's a unique state-of-the-art VIP private 8-lane luxury suite. It's not too late to book your holiday party. Call today and let the good times roll. Let us host your holiday event at any of our centers. Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue. Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive. Or Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving overseas? The Department of Veterans Affairs has recognized and is providing benefits to veterans who suffer with asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of burn pit exposure. If you served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations or Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Syria, or Djibouti, and suffer from any respiratory illnesses that you believe is a result of exposure to burn pits, contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Hey, thinking of getting the latest iPhone? Then check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. For more, just dial pound 250 on your phone and say Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from this station's network.
At the Home Depot, Saturdays are about two things. Easy cleanup with the Ryobi 18-volt OnePlus Whisper Series leaf blower and football. That's right, Reese Davis. With variable speed, it has the power for when you really need it and just the right amount when you don't. And the OnePlus battery platform means you go from yard work to DIY in just a click, so you can get projects done faster. Which means more time for football. For football. Upgrade your Saturday with Ryobi and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
Laughter Permitted. Oktoberfest at Milano's has begun. We're serving our once-a-year favorites like schnitzel sandwiches and German pizza. Get it to go or stay for the games with NFL Sunday Ticket. See you at Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps for big screen football.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, thinking of getting the latest iPhone? Then check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. For more, just dial pound 250 on your phone and say Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from the station's network.
Make sure you've liked and followed the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Enter a contest. Weigh in on the latest sports debates. Plus, you can watch Kinner and Kev weekdays at 3 p.m. Yeah, as if listening to them isn't bad enough. Now you can see them. Reds, Bengals, Browns, Buckeyes, and more. Follow the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash. We are back. Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. So, not hating. The Cincinnati Bengals looked really good yesterday. I have nothing negative to say. I still am not a fan of that defense. It's, by the way, the defense is, when you want to talk about bad defenses in the NFL, it's not the, so let me just back off. They looked good yesterday. What they needed was Burrow. Even if the defense isn't as dominant in years past, you paid Burrow to be the reason that you strike fear into every opponent moving forward, and that's all that matters. To Kev's point, I don't want to regurgitate a lot of this, the first hour of the show. That defense is only going to continue to get better. As we're about to talk Ohio State now.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure I preface this, that everything I say about who the team is now is not, I know they're not locked in stone. That the concerns that I have about the Buckeyes now does not mean that those are going to be the same concerns that exist in a month, 2 months, whatever. But there is a chance that they still very well could be. So about the Bengals defense, it doesn't look very elite right now. But you know what? It might improve. Bottom line is, we're done with the Bengals part of that conversation, but that's a good transition over to Ohio State. Ohio State, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
They came out on top. Last week, you were off last week, and I had said that my concern, I felt like Maryland was going to test Ohio State more than Notre Dame would test Ohio State. Now, to be fair, I'm making it sound like I'm backtracking because I said Maryland's offense would test the defense of Ohio State more than what Notre Dame did. And they did. They moved the ball well. Look, Maryland has a legitimate quarterback. They have a legitimate they just don't have the depth to go up against an Ohio State. Ohio State started to steamroll them late in that fourth quarter. Some of that had to do with fatigue. Ohio State has bodies on bodies. They can keep it. Maryland, that's what separates some programs like Maryland and others, where they sometimes have a quarterback and a receiver and a running back that they can combat you with. But by the time you get to that fourth quarter, you're worn down. Maryland was exhausted. They threw the pick six. It just kind of sucked the energy out of them. They were done, right? Like, Ohio State's the better football team. I know that. I know they're capable of beating them by more than that, but they didn't. And they didn't because of some of the deficiencies and some of the concerns that I've had and many people have had coming into the year. I stated on the Sunday morning tailgate show with you yesterday, Kev, I said, if we were talking about Alabama coming into the season, that we don't know anything about how good the quarterback's going to be, and we're not hearing good things. If the offensive line is not very good and they're not going to be able to run the football, and we don't really know what to expect from the defense, would we sign off on saying that Alabama is an elite football team? No, we wouldn't. So why is it that we are giving Ohio State a pass? I already know that answer. It's because it's our team. But I'm here to tell you that on this show, at least when I'm talking from my perspective, and to be fair, you're not one of them, rational observers or whatever. What the heck, it's not like you're the. Bottom line is that I am very fair with my criticism of the teams I follow. In fact, the reason I know I'm good at what I do, and I don't care how cocky that sounds, is because when I'm a fan of a team, that fan base thinks I hate that team. That's why I know I'm capable of not looking at it through homeristic glasses. Ohio State came out at number 3 on the AP poll. How? It does not make any sense. This Ryan Day BS of it's Ohio against the world. That's fine. Put it on a T-shirt, sell it at the homage store.
I have several.
Yeah, that's great. But it's not Ohio State against the world. It's really not. No one's out to get you, Ohio State. Teams want to beat you. No one's out to get you. Your offense is not very good. All right. You are 4 points. If my right state math serves me correctly, your offense is 4 points better than Maryland's offense, but we beat them by 20. Fantastic. Your offense is only 4 points better than Maryland's offense from what we saw. 3 touchdowns, and 2 of them were late in the fourth quarter when Maryland started to wear down. Ohio State's offense, was not existent during the Notre Dame game for the majority of it, right? And then they had that big drive on the fourth quarter. I'm not watering down those accomplishments or saying those don't matter, but at the same time, it's kind of like the Kenny Pickett thing with the Steelers you talked about, where it's like they're bad offensively, but you could remember the big plays. You remember Kenny Pickett dropping back against Cleveland, having that Pickens connection there. He's done it against the Raiders, but it was one play against the Raiders, one play against the Browns, and it was the one play against the Ravens yesterday. All difference makers, of course, but you're not winning a Super Bowl with just one big play a game like that, right? That's kind of the Ohio State Buckeyes at this point. They have too much talent. Now, people say, Kinner, you're way too hard on Kyle McCord. I'm not. His numbers were very good yesterday. But of all the teams in the top 10, and I want your opinion on this, he's not better than any other quarterback in the top 10. And I'm not hating. And that's why, you pull that up. When I've looked at it, in my opinion, I've scoped through it. There is not one quarterback that I would take Kyle McCord over in the top 10. And maybe, Alabama, I definitely would take Kyle McCord over what Alabama has. But, and I'm not, it sounds like I'm hating. I don't even hate Kyle McCord. He's just not as good as what he should be. And it's not that he's not as good as CJ Stroud and Justin Fields and Dwayne Haskins. I just don't think he's that good. I thought the wide receivers bailed him out on multiple plays. There was the one play where Marvin Harrison Jr., all he had to do was just continue sprinting downfield, just put his hands out, and it would have walked him right into the end zone if Stroud or Fields was throwing him that football. He had to stop. He had to take 2 steps in, and he had to leap and battle the cornerback to get that football and pull it in. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Look at it. And that's not the only time we've seen what should be easy touchdowns. Byars talked about it on his show earlier today. I thought he was going to rip me a new one. He agreed with me, which was kind of shocking. And he talked about, the diving catch by Fleming. That was a bad throw.
Horrible throw.
There was a lot of the receivers are making him look better than he is. Okay, fine. The reason I bring this up is because that can win you games in the Big Ten. That can win you games against Maryland. You underthrow a wide open Marvin Harrison against Penn State. You're not beating Penn State because you may not get that opportunity again to connect for a touchdown with a team that struggles to put the ball in the end zone. Ohio State right now, to me, is not the number 3 team in the country. How can a team that does not have an elite quarterback, that does not have an elite run game, that does not have a good offensive line, that has a defense that's improved from years past but not elite, how is that the number 3 team in the country? They are not. They're not. Like I'm telling you right now, every team has deficiencies, as a lot of you have pointed out to me on social media, okay? I agree with you. There's not a perfect team this year. But when you look at the deficiencies of the teams in the top 10, those deficiencies are not as concerning as the deficiencies that Ohio State has. USC, I don't think they're in the top 10, right? Are they in the top 10?
Yeah, USC is 10.
10 on the dot, okay? Defense is putrid. As bad as Ohio State's defense has been the last couple of years, it's never been that bad. Okay. It has not been that bad. However, USC, as we saw last year in the college football playoff semifinal matchups, Michigan had the number 2 defense in the country. Georgia had the number 1 defense in the country. They gave up 40 plus points to Ohio State, 50 points to TCU, talking about Michigan. Great. You have a great statistical defense, but when you play an elite team, look, you got torched. But what you have to have is a quarterback that can go and compete in a shootout. USC, a lot of teams are going to put a ton of points on them. They have a quarterback, a Heisman-winning quarterback that's going to outduel opposing quarterbacks or have the ability to. I like their chances better than Ohio State if Ohio State gets in a shootout. That's why Maryland kind of concerned me. If Ohio State ever has to get in a position where they have to literally go touchdown for touchdown with the team, they're not winning that football game, at least based on how they look right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, I'm not piling on here. I have good points. I've been working on this. So I'm ready to go. Okay. That's Ohio State's biggest problem. That offensive line, not good. That run game can get healthier with TreVeyon Henderson coming back, but KB talked with TreVeyon Henderson and others that like there's a lot of issues with the run game because of that O-line, and it's dependent on the O-line improving. And a lot of times it's how people are stacking the box because they don't respect the pass game of Ohio State. They respect Marvin Harrison Jr. They keep an eye on where Emeka Egbuka is. Fleming can hurt you too. They don't respect Ohio State's offense like in years past, and that's noticeable on how aggressive teams are being with the defense. If you pressure McCord, he's not going to drop it on a dime to somebody, and that's fine against Maryland. It's fine against Indiana, Western Kentucky, and they survived Notre Dame. But Notre Dame's offense is not as good as what I thought it was coming into the year. What happens when Penn State, when they get that big stop and then they go march down the field and score a touchdown? Momentum's all on Penn State's side. How does Kyle McCord respond? You can't go into the third quarter with only one touchdown scored in college football, especially, and expect to win top 25 matchups, top 10 matchups, top 5 matchups, Big Ten championship matchups. I'm not hating, but as of right now, I just do not understand how this team could be the number 3 team in the country, because I would take North Carolina's offense over Ohio State right now. I would take every offense in the top 10 right now over Ohio State's. That's a hot take. I get it. Maybe a little sizzling. But right now, based on what I've seen right now, I am not a fan of what Ohio State is doing offensively, period. I'm concerned. This is not a top 5 football team. You have to put them in the top 10, I guess, because it is the Ohio State University. But man, oh man, if they went against any top 10 team right now, they're going to play Penn State in a few weeks. I'm nervous about that. I told you I want to be nervous on game days. Maybe I was full of it. I don't like their chances. I don't like their I would not feel confident about them against North Carolina. Any team that has a legitimate quarterback, Washington would run all over the field with them. Defense could slow down Michael Penix Jr., but slowing him down to what? 24, 28 points? Can Kyle McCord put up 28 points, 30 points against Washington's defense? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm being over the top. I believe this down in my thick bones. Okay. All right. I'm thick boned. Okay. I'm just telling you, I do not like what I'm seeing from Ohio State. I was surprised. I thought Byars was going to lay into me today. He actually agreed. He does. He has him at number 3 on his list, because why wouldn't he? But he actually agreed with a lot of what I said. Doesn't make it right. I'm just saying I was surprised. Curious your thoughts. Am I overblowing this?
One, it's kind of like you said before. This is a team game. There's offense, defense, and special teams.
Yep.
Something that's being very overlooked from when I talk to you about this is the defense. You're questionable about the defense still, even after the Notre Dame game and then after the Maryland game. I know I was off last week, but going into that, we were talking to Paul Kills and stuff like that about the victory over Notre Dame. And I know we talked off air about being scared of Tila Tagovailoa. Like in that offense. So what changed from then to now? What's your thoughts about Maryland's offense?
Real quick, repeat that.
What changed about Maryland's offense from 2 weeks ago versus after you seeing it? Like what about Ohio State's defense versus Maryland's offense? Because I know you felt like that Maryland's offense was going to give Ohio State's defense some trouble.
Well, for one, they have a legitimate quarterback. Mm-hmm. 2, they have an NFL wide receiver who had a solid game against Ohio State. And less talented Notre Dame or less talented Maryland teams have pushed Ohio State to the brink, I guess was my takeaway.
Yeah.
I didn't pick the ups. I didn't say Maryland was going to win. I said I was worried about this. So the scenario I just unveiled to you about Ohio State having to win a shootout, I thought that would be the case. And when it was 10-0, I'm like, here we go. It's off and going. Now, 10-0's not a shootout, but I thought it was trending in that direction, especially when they struck first. I'm like, here we go. This is not going to be good. The defense, slowed them down. Bottom line is, it's just based on recent matchups with Maryland.
Right.
They have given Ohio State's defense fits. But you know what? When you have Dwayne Haskins, when you have Justin Fields, when you have CJ Stroud, okay, defense, you're ticking me off today. You're not doing your job, but we have the weapons to go. They can't stop us either. You could stop this Ohio State team. You haven't been able to stop them in years past. That's the difference.
So how do you feel about Ohio State's defense now versus thoughts going into the season?
Oh, that offense sucks. So who cares? The reason I brought up Georgia's defense and Michigan's defense from last year, statistically, and those defenses are better than the Ohio State defense is right now. Those defenses were put in positions where they had to win shootouts. That's why I keep bringing those up, because it may not matter against Maryland or Western Kentucky right now. It will matter as the games get bigger and the season goes on. So when people bring up Ohio State's defense, I think they're legit. That's fantastic. Georgia's defense was more legit last year than Ohio State's this year. And look, they were pushed to the brink, right? Michigan's defense, I hate complimenting them. I love how hard hitting they are. They're disciplined. They're physical. That's great. TCU put up 50 on them. So if this defense isn't that, anyone could score on you at any moment, and the quarterbacks this year are way better than what we saw from last year's teams.
So my rebuttal to that, to anybody that thinks like that, is then defense doesn't matter anymore. So then we can never complain about Ohio State's defense being lackluster. We can never say, oh, we need the silver bullet defense back, if that's people's thought process about defense now. If it's, well, all you need is offense, all you need is a star quarterback and some wide receivers, because this team's giving up 50, this team's giving up 50. Those are the same exact points that I was making last year about Ohio State. Like, look, man, in today's football, in big games, you are not going to hold teams below 28 points. Like, it's very good teams out here, especially in, the CFP. Like, these teams are going to score points. Like, they've got weeks to set up for these games. They're going to devise schemes. They're going to find your weakness, and they're going to score points. To the flip side about Ohio State on the offensive side, forget to the offensive side. Yep. But I hope Coach answers this, because I miss his press game, his post game press conference.
He yelled at Betty White, Bob Barker. He hates old people, dude. I'm sorry.
Was that a fake punt, or was that a bowling ball situation from the long snapper? Like, I gotta know if that was a fake punt. That's the main question.
In the postgame, he did say it was an execution, that they didn't execute properly. But what did they not execute?
Then it was a fake punt.
And that's what KB said earlier today. He was critical of Ryan Day on that. And he was critical of Ryan Day because he never clarified if it was a fake punt or not. It just sounded like he blamed the execution of whether it was supposed to be a regular punt or a fake punt. He just said execution was the problem. KB said, no. Those situations, execution from coaching, something like you don't say, well, like it almost was like, well, the players, they didn't execute what they were supposed to. Maybe that's the case.
Yeah,
did you like the call though if it was a fake punt?
Oh, I would have loved the call, because I just same way where week 1 with the Lions ran a fake punt versus Kansas City Chiefs in their own territory. Nobody's thinking you're going to fake a punt right there. That's why it works. Yep. So if it worked, then that's not a problem. I'm just like, man, like it didn't even get up to the up man. So, like, he's right. Execution was very poor right there. Extremely poor right there. Like, yeah, we're running the fake because nobody thinks we're going to run a fake. So it would have worked if the snap was good. So I have no problem with Coach talking about the execution. So fine, it was a fake punt. Special teams not so great either that day. Had a bad punt there as well that I didn't like. But anyway, to the offense, I believe that in sports, we look at past year's performance. Especially in college football, we look at the other guys. We look at the Dwayne Haskins. We look at the Justice Fields. We look at the C.J. Strouds, and then we look at our current quarterback situation. We're like, we can't win a national championship with this guy, or because he's not that guy. Well, guess what? That team is that team. We're not. We're not playing. Guess who's not playing for Michigan? Hutchinson. He's not playing for Michigan. Ojabo, he's not playing for Michigan. That team is gone. We're not playing those teams. We're playing these teams. All those dudes from Georgia that play for the Philadelphia Eagles right now, they're not playing for Georgia this year. We have to play these teams. So as much as we want to talk about the guys that we're missing, they're missing dudes too. So I believe the biggest problem with Ohio State is the offensive line. The offensive line is god-awful. Coach, head coach, offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, transfer portal coach, whomever it is up there in Columbus at the Woody, you got to do something. I don't know what it is. I'm not an offensive line coach. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. You got to do something, because you can't have a average quarterback. Let's call him average. Let's call Kyle McCord average.
I'll say he's average.
Let's call him average. You can't have an average quarterback and a bad offensive line and go where you want to go. You can have a great offensive line and great weapons and an average quarterback and win a national championship. I believe we saw that 2 years in a row with Georgia. So you can't have both.
The Heisman finalist.
Hey,
no, but you're
salute.
No one looked at him
exactly
as a Joe Burrow or like a like the high end a Tua and those type of quarterbacks, a CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
So my whole thing, and this is the other part. I think teams and players can get better throughout the season. I'm not sure the offensive line can get to where they need to be. I saw guys going in the wrong hole, man. Like, look, man, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and I'm surely not the smartest football guy in the world, but I do know the A gap from the B gap. I do know that. And when I saw a pulling guard go in the wrong gap and the linebackers just sitting there waiting for the running back, what do you want the running back to do? You want him to disappear and reappear on the other side of him because there's nowhere to go. Because if running back decides, oh, let me bounce it outside some more, he's going to lose yardage. So he turns it up, tries to put his shoulder down, 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8. You're not getting any push up front. And to coach's credit, he is trying everything under God's green earth to try to make this work. He's running out there with fullbacks. He's running out there with defensive tackle at fullbacks. He's doing the tush push. He's doing fake ghost hand arounds to try to keep eye discipline and everything like that. He's trying. So, like, when people talk about, oh, man, these play calls aren't working, he's trying everything underneath the sun to make this run game go. He knows he has to run the ball. He knows this. He's trying. It is the players up front that are not executing and they're not good enough. It is as simple as that. They have to recruit better. They have to coach better, and they got to dial up the transfer portal and get better offensive linemen in here because you're not going to where you want to go with this offensive line.
So sounds like Lou Holtz might have been a little right. They're soft in those spots. Like that's what. Now, no, I don't want to get back into that. Like that's what he was kind of alluding to. They've just been kind of not strong up front, but he said weak or whatever it was. That yeah. But the bottom line is, so okay, with that, you scrunched your face when I said they are not a number 3 team in the country. The reason I say that is because everything you just talked about for their deficiencies, all the other teams have deficiencies too. But I think that O-line is making NFL running backs look bad. That O-line is keeping a Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe the best wide receiver prospect since Megatron, to not be explosive. That's why. Like, they can't overcome that. So that's why they can't be the number 3 team in the country to me, because I feel like like USC, that defense is not good, but that's not keeping their offense from their quarterback from potentially winning another Heisman. Their offense from, that offense could beat anybody. I don't think Ohio State's offense could beat anybody as long as that O-line is that way. As long as, and that's, we could say, it sounds like I'm separating it. The O-line's not good and the run game's like it. Well, the run game's not good because of the O-line. Right. You're right. You can get more out of an average quarterback if you're strong up front. Well, they're not. So it's not just one thing that's off. Now it's the run game. Now it's the quarterback. Now it's the offense. Now it's the O-line. Effect. And now when you're having some 3 and outs against tougher teams, now your defense, which is either, I don't think it's elite, but it's very good. Now that's going to take a hit because your defense is on the field too much. And now that's going to be there'll be a trickle down where if Kev Nash is top 10, we're going to release our top 10s tomorrow, but Ohio State's not a top 3 team.
I would have them about 5-6.
Fair.
5-6, somewhere in that range. My question to everybody else would be, are you watching other teams as much with the same scrutiny that you're watching the Buckeyes? And my answer to that, you're probably not, because you probably don't care to watch those teams in that way. Because you're not watching Georgia in the same eye that you're watching Ohio State. When Ohio State game is on, there's no other games coming on the big TV. I'm not switching back and forth. It is Ohio State until the game is over. Now, when Georgia's playing Auburn or whatever, all right, this game is on. All right, let me see what the other game's doing. And then, touchdown. Oh, man, text somebody. Washington's on. Let me see what's going on there. So you're flip-flopping around. You're not really locked in on the game until whatever big game is on in the evening and everything like that. So I would say, hey, man, there's a lot of teams out there that look kind of like Ohio State. Their deficiency may be different to your point, but they are deficient. Like you talk about USC and that secondary. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We got a couple high schools in town that I think could put up 40 on them.
That's a powerful statement. That's a power statement.
Hey, I'm just saying.
So I'm glad you said that, because I think that's the point a lot of people are making. Stop focusing on Ohio State's deficiencies. Everyone, not all deficiencies are equal.
Right.
The reason I keep going back to this, Georgia gave up 45 points. Michigan gave up the 50 points. Okay.
Yeah.
You could still win doing that. It's not ideal. You don't want to plan on being, I don't care about defense. Let's just make sure we could score points. You don't want that, but you could still win that way. I don't think Ohio State can outwin a USC. USC would win by double digits. If you had my opinion, I think it would be a double-digit line. No, it would not be a line. It would not be a double-digit line. It would be a double-digit final.
Marv is going for 250.
Oof.
They can't tackle. Like he wouldn't even have to go deep. He'll just run an out route and break a tackle. That take them off the table, because
Oregon.
Because they're about to be giving up at least 40 whenever they play Oregon. USC, we can cancel Christmas on them. They are not making it. I think a fairer statement to a team that will give Ohio State a lot of trouble will be Oregon. That's a team that I would fear if I played them right now. A lot of these other teams I'm really not fearful of, because I think they have a lot of deficiencies. I think Oregon offensively, defensively, is a very well-rounded team. Washington, very high power offense. Defense is good. They get a lot of turnovers as well, but I'm not sure how long lasting that is. That offense is super potent. Obviously, Georgia always going to be there. I mean, somehow, some way, Brock Byars is still wide open. Don't know how that's constantly happening. But, for me, the toughest matchups currently for Ohio State from out of these teams that we're looking at, they're still undefeated, I would go with Georgia, because they're champs, got to show them their respect. Oregon, Michigan, then Penn State. And they play Penn State very soon.
Okay, so with that, I agree with all those teams that they would struggle with, but I don't think there's a team that they wouldn't struggle with in the top 10.
Do you think they can beat any of those teams? You think they would lose
with
all
who
of
they
them?
are right now? Like, again, if we're talking bowl season or playoff, might be a different story, right? But as of right now, I'm taking your Florida State Seminoles over Ohio State. I think Oklahoma would win against. Now, let's be clear. The beauty part about the top 10 this year, everyone could beat everybody.
Right.
But I'm not confident in Ohio State's ability with the offense. Okay, I won't even frame it as, okay, Kyle McCord's the reason why. If the offensive line is why Kyle McCord can't get better and the run game can't get better, and Marvin Harrison, we can't unleash him. Like, look, the Bengals have offensive deficiencies this year, and look what they keep scheming Jamar Chase into these situations to dominate games. They can't do that with Marvin Harrison. So Georgia, Michigan, yes. As of right now, the Michigan game scares me as of right now with the way the Ohio State is struggling. Florida
State could not. You use there's a 0% chance you think they could beat those teams?
I think Michigan can run and score on Ohio State. So no, I'm worried. Scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 7. 7, and I don't know really what I'm trying to say. What do you like? Yeah,
you would give Michigan a 70% chance of beating Ohio State.
I don't.
7 out of 10 times you think Michigan will beat Ohio State.
Yep. And by the way, you want to know why I know I don't trust this? So I haven't put $1 on Ohio State this entire season.
I've made money.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Marv.
Who day, baby?
I made $15 this week off of Buckeyes. Go, Marv.
I made money off the Bengals. So who day? I'll do a who day. No, Penn State, I feel okay about. Outside of that, but Washington, Oregon, nope. Texas, even with one loss, Texas would obliterate Ohio State, in my opinion, right now. With their quarterback, with that pass game, and with that defense, I don't think Ohio State can keep up offensively with them. I think they can maybe a little resistance. He didn't play well against Oklahoma, but still made big-time throws. Kyle McCord couldn't go as throw for throw with him the way we watch Oklahoma's quarterback do. USC, you talked me off the ledge on that one. You're right. Like, accidentally, just get the ball into open space and go. Don't try to be too cute with trick plays down the field. Just get the ball. Little screen pass to Hendrickson. Screen pass to Marvin Harrison Jr. You're right. Alabama would be a close one. North Carolina would be close. Ole Miss. But look, we're getting outside of the top 10 there. Outside of USC, because you talked me off that ledge, and Penn State will know here in a few weeks. I'm not confident Ohio State could beat any of these other teams right now. If we were heading into this Saturday against Florida State, Oregon and Washington, no. Georgia, no. Michigan, rivalry game, everything's possible, right? But Texas, no. USC, yes. You talked to me. Alabama, I think they could go. They're the same team right now. That's the thing, right? Is that fair? Like,
yeah, about. I would give Ohio State about a 40% chance of beating Georgia right now. 50-50 versus Michigan. 50-50 versus Florida State. Probably 40% chance versus Oklahoma. 50 versus Penn State. 40 versus Washington. 30% chance against Oregon. I'm very high on Oregon. And I would go a 50% chance of beating Texas. And about a 90% chance of beating USC.
Yeah. So
I just think this is wide open. I think this is the wide how do I sort of say this? The most wide open college football has been. And I think this is a good thing for college football. Not only it being wide open, it's wide open with brand name teams. So it doesn't scare people off. It isn't, no disrespect to, the Bearcats. It's no disrespect to the TCU Horned Frogs, but these are brand name teams that we all have heard of and we all follow for years, that we all respect, all up there vying for, college football supremacy. So this is good for college football. I mean, we kind of had this conversation before. Are we ready for, parity in college football? I say yes, as long as it's the right teams. If it's not the quote unquote right teams, then we don't want it.
So I got to say this. Mark Smith says Ohio State's defense made their quarterback look average at best. But before that, he said, you are talking about me. I'm assuming you are definitely over the top with all of the hate. Here's the thing about this show. Okay. No, it's okay. I'm calm. The beauty part about this show is we give people the phone line, we give people the text number, we give people the Facebook and the YouTube feed.
Ring my bell.
It is totally fine to voice your opinion, even if it's different than mine. But what you can't do is just sit there and make lazy arguments and say, I'm a hater. Mark Smith, call in or write in these comment sections. What makes Ohio State dangerous? With every point that I gave you good points. I'm not just saying things to say things like you are. I literally explained why. You can't tell me there is nothing in your comments that make any dang sense outside of just saying I'm a hater. Okay, cool. Explain. What am I a hater? What do you disagree with? And bring to the table why you think I'm wrong. You keep saying things like this one, Kev. It's a good thing we don't have to rely on your opinions. This game still has to be played. That's super. Put that on a bumper sticker. Get it tattooed on your arse. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, the bottom line is it's our opinion based on what we've seen to this point. You're seeing something different, but I'm assuming that I'm making good points. Kev's bringing up good points about the deficiencies in the O-line that's leading to the struggles. They're not an elite football team right now. That's why I said they shouldn't be number 3. Mark Smith got mad at me and went off on me all day yesterday on social media, but in typical Mark Smith fashion, brought no points to the table to tell me why he thinks that they are.
Tell him the phone number.
So 518-1410. That's all I'm asking. It's okay if you disagree. Kevin and I just went back and forth. We agreed on some, not on other. You have the opportunity to do that as well. But I'll hang up on your ass the second you do. No. 518-1410, guys. We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 37. Patchy frost and sunshine at 64 Tuesday. Sunny, maybe some rain late in the day, 68 on Wednesday. I'm Rick Shrimp, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you've earned, double. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
O'Reilly.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. Our professional parts people will test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Stop by Columbus Equipment in Columbus, Dayton, or Toledo to see our full line of Kubota construction equipment, or check us out online at ColumbusEquipment.com.
College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars here to tell you about OGW Energy Resources. If you own a home or a business and want to save money, then going solar with OGW Energy Resources is the way to go. OGW Energy Resources have been helping the Miami Valley save money by going solar for over 14 years. There is no better time than now to look into going solar. For more information, check out their website at OGWEnergyResources.com. Go solar today. OGW Energy Resources. Your energy, your future, control it. Hi, it's Keith Byars, Hall of Fame running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Nothing beats watching college football while enjoying juicy, tender chicken strips. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken is launching the Buckeye Box to satisfy your hunger. For just $8.99, you get 4 delicious chicken strips, fresh cut potato wedges, and 2 mouth-watering dipping sauces. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken today to get your Buckeye Box. Only at Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Imagine it's the last ride, but your symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, are taking you for a ride. What should you do? Keep managing your constipation with belly pain the same old way? Or try getting ahead of your symptoms by talking to your doctor about treating it with Linzess, linaclotide. Linzess is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually.
Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling.
Imagine, what could relief from IBS-C mean for you? Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a game-changing checking account with cashback. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
Kinner and Kev back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Just tagging in quick. We got to take another few minutes, another pause in the action quick. Appreciate those who are jumping in on the comment section. Mark Smith did respond. Mark Smith, who won't call in, but he did say that he goes, I'm saying, so to been not really critical, but my opinion is not a very fan favorite opinion of Ohio State. I don't think I'm hating. I'm pointing out the deficiencies with the team. Mark Smith says, and instead of, he just calls me a hater. And I said, well, why don't you counter my arguments with arguments of your own instead of just name calling? Because you clearly don't have any good points to make. Otherwise you would be responding with those versus just calling me a hater. It's the laziest argument in the history of sports arguments. But Mark Smith said, I'm saying they have showed marked improvement with every game. The O-line has to get better. And I'm saying I guess that's better than just calling me a hater, but at the same time, they've showed improvement. What does that mean? They've showed improvement, but that offense is still, it's the worst offense in the top 10, right? Or at least, maybe rivals Georgia, but even then, it's nothing to brag about as far as I'm concerned. And as far as the O-line has to get better, well, you can go to every bad team in college football or the NFL, take their weakest deficiency and say, well, yeah, they got to get better at that. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know what you mean by that. As far as, put it this way, Trevion Henderson, that's how bad the O-line is. It neutralizes him. It neutralizes the deepest running back room in college football. You have Emeka Egbuka and Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 first-round wide receivers that if the quarterback class wasn't so deep, probably both of those guys go in the top 10 and still might. He's neutralized, the O-line's neutralized those guys. Like, this offense can't do a dang thing. Maryland, a very good offense, right? Defense held them to 17. Ohio State put up 21 points offensively. They beat them by 20, but they're 4 points better than Maryland. They have way more depth than Maryland does, but they're only 4 points better. So I say all of this. That offensive line, it's not just that they need to get better. They're beyond needing to get better. This is a bad offensive line. Can they? Yes, Mark, they can. But my opinion is based on right now. The rankings that came out right now, my take is coming from that. They are not the number 3 team in the country, in my opinion. If the offensive line gets better 4 weeks from now, that doesn't mean that they were legitimate this week, right? That just means that, okay, their O-line got better, which means we can now, say that they're more credible. Anyways, we'll be right back. 518-1410, 518-1410. It's the Kinner and Kev Show. I see Shaw is out of jail, Kev.
Locked up, they won't let me out. Locked up.
I should have had that ready to go. So, nonetheless. All right, we'll be right back. Kinner and Kev, 1410 Wing AM. We might, just to get Shaw eased back into this, I got to treat him like I always. I'm going to make him wait a little bit. Sweat it out.
My dad has a cold, but also has high blood pressure. That's why I got him Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure for max strength daytime relief. Unlike some ordinary cold medicines, it's specially formulated for people like my dad. DayQuil High Blood Pressure is sugar-free, alcohol-free, and decongestant-free.
Vicks DayQuil High Blood Pressure. The daytime, non-drowsy, coughing, aching, fever, sore throat, cold, and flu for people with high blood pressure.
Like my dad.
Medicine. Use as directed.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limits apply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Harley-Davidson of Xenia, the atmosphere is positively electric as we look to the future. Our name may have changed, but Harley-Davidson of Xenia has been locally owned since 1984. Under our new management, the staff and store are buzzing to get you set up for the open road. Whether you're shopping for merchandise, a new bike, or just need some maintenance on your current ride, Harley-Davidson of Xenia is here for you. Visit us online to learn more and to place a reservation on your new bike. hdofxenia.com.
Hey, I'm College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars, and I'm here with John Glazier from Glazier Soft Water. Did you know we are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Yes, I did. But did you know that Glazier Soft Water is the home of the 7-year, worry-free parts and labor warranty? We've been making water great since 1988. What were you doing in 1988?
That was my 3rd year in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles. I had 10 touchdowns that season, and we made the playoffs in 1988.
So you can say that we both have been doing great since 1988. Glazier Soft Water. Glazier Water is better water.
Everyday values are at only one place, Frickers. Monday, boneless frickin' chicken wings. Tuesday, traditional frickin' chicken wings. Wednesday is all about that steak. Thursday, frickin' chicken chunks. Frickers, where kids 10 and under eat free every day. Remember draft beer specials, everyday values, and kids eat free every day. The home for money-saving value is the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
$5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring experienced Class A CDL drivers with excellent work history. If that's you, apply now. Cordell Transportation offers home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight, and brand new equipment, plus a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, and company 401k with company match. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
The Western Ohio Home Builders Association and Minster Bank proudly present the Fall Parade of Homes, Saturday and Sunday, October 14th and 15th from noon until 4 p.m. This free event will feature 17 thoughtfully designed homes to tour throughout the northern Miami Valley. Whether your dreams involve building a new home or giving your current home a fresh makeover, the Fall Parade of Homes is your destination. An annual event not to be missed. Embrace the journey of finding your dream home at the Fall Parade of Homes. Plan your visit at poh.westernohiohba.com.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet with 25,000 1,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Lyric's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Lyric's, continuing the tradition.
With Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles, you can choose the pair you want. Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
When looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Right now, get up to $1,500 in rebates, or qualified buyers make no payments, incur no interest for 6 months when financing a new Lennox system. Plus, receive up to $3,200 in federal tax credits. Call us today at 937-222-8638 or visit us online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com to learn more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Dealer license number Ohio, license number 14911.
Hey, thinking of getting the latest iPhone? Then check out the amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. For more, just dial pound 250 on your phone and say Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dialed text message from this station's network.
I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hi, it's Keith Byars. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and to repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall, moving around pain-free, doing the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing with the grandkids. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started. 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325.
Hey Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for 2 to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. One bowl prize winner will be chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun casual joint and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
We love saying it because it's true. Chevrolet of Troy has the absolute lowest prices. Get the deepest discounts with up to $10,000 off MSRP, plus no payments until New Year's. And sign and drive with 0 cash down. The best selection in the region with over 100 brand new Chevrolets. Remember, customer service is our top priority. We make financing a breeze. A full-service, state-of-the-art dealership makes Chevrolet of Troy your best choice. Save at 1375 South Market Street and online at ChevroletofTroy.com.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a game-changing checking account with cashback. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. Discover Bank. Member FDIC.
Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, back with you here. Sorry for that little extended break. We're back off and rolling. I don't even know what the hell we teased before we came in. That's how bumpy the roller coaster is today.
Somebody's out of jail.
And we'll get to him. Real quick, a couple comments coming in. So, talked a lot of Bengals, a lot of NFL in the first hour. Second hour was a lot of Ohio State college football in general. Bottom line is Ohio State is undefeated. Ohio State is not elite, and they're taking bumps along the way, but they're doing it while winning, and that's a lot better than having to learn that you're not good while losing. So there is plenty of opportunity for them to get better. There's plenty of room for improvement. I just don't think they're the number 3 team in the country, in your opinion?
I would have them about
I asked
5, 6,
5 or
5, 6, somewhere around there.
We're putting out our, very official, very credible Kinner and Kev top 10 tomorrow, as far as that's concerned. So There you go. Why are people so where does Florida State come on that list?
I believe
they
they're
came in
at
at number
4.
It's always weird to me. Like Florida State deserves to be there. I felt like they should have been, higher up all line. In fact, I feel like Florida State should be 3. Oklahoma should be 4 with Ohio State coming in at 5, but you could justify putting Washington and Oregon above them too, and then having Penn State and Ohio State at that 6 and 7 or 7 and 8 marker. But the Oklahoma thing is weird to me. You beat the team that was sitting at number 4, and they move you 7 spots all the way up, but there was a stopgap for Florida State with Texas there. The team that beats Texas, now they let Florida State advance and then won't let Oklahoma pass that. It just doesn't make any sense. The other thing about the top 25, how in the blue hell Kentucky gets absolutely obliterated. They still come in at number 24. And then Miami.
They only dropped 4 spots?
They only dropped 4 spots. They're at number 24. Miami, 4-1, they dropped 8 spots to number 25. Now they lost a close one.
Yeah.
Right?
At home.
Kentucky gets blown out. Anyways, it's not SEC bias. It has nothing to do with that. It's just I don't know. There's these polls. It's why they exist. So people like you and I could be annoyed with stuff.
How far did Louisville jump up?
Louisville jumped up. Where did they go? Number 14. They moved up 11 spots.
Wow.
They surpassed Utah, Oregon State. But so basically they took them and they're the last ranked unbeaten. Am I wording that correctly? Yeah, they're in the top 25, they're the lowest rated undefeated team as far as that's concerned. Let me ask you about that matchup. Reaction to that, it didn't surprise me that they lost. Notre Dame, and this is the other bad part for Ohio State if we're going to talk playoff resumes. Notre Dame's not as good as I thought. And that's not, because they lost 2 games and that's your scathing hot take. No, I watched Notre Dame for 3 straight weeks and it was the same team 3 straight weeks. Physical, defensively. But there's that's bad. Ohio State has a quarterback that hasn't proven anything, hasn't thrown for a ton of yards. Or we don't know who he is. They shouldn't be that bad. No, they don't have elite, it's elite wide receivers and stuff, but you still have with that type of quarterback, you should be better offensively. They're not good offensively. They're just not.
I wish I knew exactly what day I said this on the show.
I already know where you're going.
Sam Hartman transferred.
You weren't sold. I was.
I am sold on Sam Hartman. I am not sold on the weapons that he's going to be throwing to. He had better wide receivers at Wake Forest than he has at Notre Dame. Now, the offensive line obviously is way better at Notre Dame. Running backs, better at Notre Dame. Defense, way better at Notre Dame. The weapons he would be throwing to at Wake Forest are better than the dudes he's throwing to at Notre Dame.
I think I think scheme.
Well, I mean that
joking.
too, but like that, I saw that a mile away. And to your point, you were talking about Ohio State going after Sam Hartman. I was saying we'll see what happens with Devin Brown and Kyle McCord, yada yada yada. The team that I thought should have went after Sam Hartman was Alabama because they were in the transfer portal looking for a quarterback. They ultimately go get the old quarterback from Notre Dame to transfer down there. They start the redshirt freshman. They didn't like how he played versus Texas. They put in the transfer from Notre Dame. He looks god awful. They put in the 5-star dude. He looks terrible. They went back to, the other quarterback. So obviously they need a quarterback. So for Alabama, they got to be looking at Tua's brother at Maryland. Dang, he used to be a quarterback here. Could use him. Oh man, we could have went after Sam Hartman with the weapons that we have on the outside. We probably would be in a better position. So Sam Hartman's probably got to be thinking the same thing. Hey, man, I thought I was going to come in here and be coming to a well-balanced offense, a team that could run the ball, could take deep shots and better my draft prospects. It ain't happening because the dudes that he's throwing to ain't no good. They just ain't as good as the guys they was throwing to at Wake Forest. So Notre Dame, another night game. They're going up against USC. They'll probably be in that game because they've got a real good defense and USC has a terrible defense. So they'll be in that game in the fourth quarter. It's just a matter of, I don't think Notre Dame on the outside is super talented.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about all that. Are we going to get to the point now where it's basically free agency, where we should start being critical of programs who, if Ohio State, and now it's the offensive line, this is where they'll get bailed out. I'm not as sold on Kyle McCord as I thought I would be. I was big on Kyle McCord coming into this. Stop calling me. You know I'm on the air, lady. What is wrong with you? We've been married and together for 10 years. You know what I'm doing. You know I'm on the air, Nora. Come on now. The camera's off now. See, Nora, what are we doing? The camera. There we go. Now I'm back. Think we're good. Yeah.
You're frozen.
Now she's going to get mad because I hit end. I ignored the call. I'm in trouble when I get home now. Where was I going with this? See, I got distracted. Damn it.
Free agency with the transfer portal.
Are we going to get to the point where we start to be critical of programs who, just like we would in an NFL team, hey, you're settling for, you're losing because you're not trying to improve your quarterback position, and you had a chance to get a Sam Hartman, you had a chance to get a Tagovailoa, you had a chance, and you chose not to. Like Alabama, Ohio State are the two that I'm like, you should have known better. Like this reminds me of, I feel like what we're watching now, even though the O-line is a lot more to blame for Ohio State than the quarterback, this is kind of what I feel like we would have saw if they never went after Justin Fields, where talent all over the place, but the quarterback may have held some of that talent back if they would have gone the route of Tate Martell. Right now, I know you said the scheme would have helped. They still would have been solid, and I think Ohio State's going to be solid with McCord. It's just not that big explosive offense. But Ohio State's a prime example. You can settle for the quarterback you already have on your roster, knowing the deficiencies you have, or you could be aggressive. They had a chance to win a championship that year because they were aggressive to go get Justin Fields. I don't think they have a shot to win a championship this year because they settled for Kyle McCord instead of being aggressive to go get Hartman. And who's to say maybe that they didn't, but there was no rumble, all the blogger fanboys out there, they didn't get wind of anything. So I don't know. Your thoughts?
My thoughts about the Ohio State situation, I thought that they were, I won't say sold on Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, but like happy or good with their positioning. I don't think they were good and happy with their positioning with the offensive line. That's why they went to the transfer portal and got two guys on the offensive line who are currently starters on the Buckeyes. They went out into the transfer portal and got a cornerback, Ebinosa, who's starting for the Buckeyes, playing good football. So the guys in the positions that they felt they needed to upgrade and hit the transfer portal, they went out there, did that. So I'm not mad at them for not doing that because they felt like, okay, these guys are good and these are the places that we need to supplement our roster. Alabama, on the other hand, they hit the portal for a quarterback. Fair. And they decided not to go after the best quarterback prospect in the portal. That's, if I'm an Alabama fan, I would have a bigger problem with that. Like, you're going to go ahead and get the guy that got benched at Notre Dame to come to Alabama? Like, that doesn't even seem remotely feasible. That doesn't even seem smart. So you mean the dude that's been throwing for 5,000 yards for the last 5 years at Wake Forest is out there available, and you're not going to go after him? That seems a tad bit odd. So, yeah, I think it's fair to say, like, when there's a glaring deficiency and you as a program see a deficiency and there's people out there that you can go get and you don't get them, yeah, I think there's cases to be upset. Now, how mad are we going to get when obviously you're not going to get everybody, just same way in regular recruiting, you're not going to get every 5 and 4 star to come to your program. There's going to be other programs that person has a connection to or you get outbid for and everything like that. But I don't necessarily have a problem with them not getting Sam Hartman. If I'm Alabama, I got a big problem.
That's fair. The other thing, too, I was sold on Kyle McCord is because I felt Marvin Harrison Jr. would be the one to tell us based on what he decided to do, because we knew how big of a prospect he was. If he felt that the quarterback was going to keep him from being him, maybe he doesn't brag about, hey, I took less money to stay at Ohio State and blah, blah, blah. But he also probably knows his draft stock is pretty bulletproof at this point, unless he just was, if he was the problem, which he's not. Like I said, this past week, he made McCord look better than what he actually was, but some of those catches that he had nonetheless. But we'll keep it up. But the Notre Dame thing is interesting. Ohio State, their premier win now doesn't look as sharp. And that's how this playoff resume thing has always been.
Same thing with Florida State. When they beat LSU at the beginning of the season, oh my goodness, they beat LSU. And then LSU loses. Now LSU has 2 losses. They were almost headed to get another loss last week, so they had to come back. So like that's just how this thing goes. We kind of talked about it yesterday at Frickers about like how much the Pac-12, everybody's in love with the Pac-12. Everybody's giving the Pac-12 their flowers on their last year of Pac-12, and everybody's saying, oh man, if the Pac-12 was like this in other years, they probably would be sticking around, yada yada yada. We're saying that at week 5 or week 6, whatever week this is. Let's see how that is in week 12 once these teams start cannibalizing themselves. Are people still gonna have that same energy? Like, all right, when USC has a loss, Washington has a loss, Oregon has a loss, like, are we still gonna be propping those teams up, or are we gonna be like, they weren't anything, they had a chance and they blew it?
Notre Dame, USC, this coming up Saturday night.
Ooh.
Guess the line on that.
I'm gonna say it's at Notre Dame, right?
At Notre Dame, 7:30 under the lights.
I'm gonna say USC 4.
Notre Dame 2.5.
Oh wow,
Notre Dame 2.5.
See, the thing that Notre Dame does well, which is run the ball, is what USC actually does well on defense: stop the run. So if we're ever going to see the old Sam Hartman from Wake Forest, it's in this game. It's in this game because the opportunity is there for him to throw the ball all over the lot. Dude's going to be running butt naked wide open, just like Arizona was, just like Colorado was, just like San Jose State was. Dudes are going to be open. Sam Hartman can hit him, and this is a stat game for him if they choose to go that route instead of, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
If I'm Ohio State fans, I keep an eye on this matchup because, to me, Ohio State Notre Dame offense is slightly different with the deficiencies that they have, but I think it's a similar style of Notre Dame. Can you win a shootout against USC? They're more equipped to win a shootout than Ohio State because the quarterback's a little bit better, but then Ohio State, the quarterback's not as good, but they have the weapons to neutralize that. So I'm just saying this matchup to me feels like what it would feel like if Ohio State and USC were playing this weekend where, can they keep up? That's the thing. All right. Keith Byars is going to join us in studio coming up here in about 5 minutes. We're going to chat with him about Urban Meyer and the reports that are out of him potentially flirting with the idea of coaching at Michigan State. I want to talk to him too. Notre Dame fans seem pretty upset about all these, they're tired of their team being the biggest opponent or being the biggest game for, 4 straight weeks now where they're getting picked apart in these primetime night games. Well, Ohio State fans are mad because another primetime noon kickoff, guess which side I'm on. Ohio State, Penn State should be at night. Bottom line, there's 2 lost Notre Dame.
Say
crap.
that now.
There's 2 lost Notre Dame crap. I want to, I want to watch Notre Dame or Ohio State and Penn State under the lights. But we'll get to that with Keith Byars coming up in a few. All right, what date was it? I wish we had the audio of why this guy got put in Kinner and Kev jail.
Oh, it was a month ago.
It was a month ago.
Definitely a month ago.
It's been the best month of the show. Now we just got to adjust. Mr. Shaw, welcome. How it's a whole new world. A lot's changed since you've been gone.
Yeah, a whole lot's changed since I've been gone. And it was September 8th is when the inevitable day that I got put in jail.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed banning you from the show.
I'm sure you did.
Yep.
Because you didn't have someone calling you out on your ridiculousness.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hey, I gave you Frickers bucks yesterday out of the kindness of my heart. All right.
I know.
All right. You owe me 15 Frickers bucks. I want it back. Now, what you got? Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick on the USC Notre Dame thing, I think USC goes in there and they steamroll them.
Ooh.
I think the wrong team's favorite.
We agree on that.
Yeah,
I don't know about steamrolling, but I think they win by double digits, if that makes sense. It's kind of like it's going to be. Well, I don't know, man. Louisville just beat them by double digits, so it's like, yeah, I agree. It's like they couldn't keep up with Louisville's offense.
Exactly.
So okay.
I think
Louisville's defense is better.
I don't see how they stop USC's offense, and what Notre Dame does well offensively, USC can stop. And as Kev already said, they don't have any weapons on the outside, so I don't care who the quarterback is. There's nobody to throw it to. So what USC's weak at in defense, Notre Dame can't take advantage of it. So I don't see how Notre Dame scores, and USC is going to put up at least 30. So like 30-3, 30-7. So, but yeah. I'm already on USC, and I'm already on the under too. So, but you asked a question, or well, you didn't really ask it. You just said everybody has weaknesses. In your guys' opinion, and I'd like both of them. What's Michigan's weakness?
I would definitely not defense. I can tell you that. Definitely not the defense. I'm gonna say downfield passing game. I'm not seeing JJ take the quote unquote leap that everybody and their mom thought he would do, but does he have the receivers to do so? Like, I don't like the guy, the Anthony kid, he plays for Oklahoma now, right?
Yeah, Andrell Anthony transferred over, but you said he didn't take the step that you thought he was going to. In reference to that, what is he not doing that you thought he would be doing?
I would thought he would be doing everything Harbaugh said he was going to be doing, that he was the next Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck didn't look like this in college. Andrew Luck was taking the roof off even though they were running triple tight ends.
We're not that offense.
Oh, yeah, they are. They still running super power and play action and stuff.
We are a power running team. We are not a throwing team.
But if you had let's say you had if you had a Caleb Williams at quarterback, would you still be running that offense? Maybe you're running that offense because of the limitations of your quarterback.
No, we're running that offense because that's the best way we can win.
Because of the limitations of quarterback.
The reason TCU won that game is they took us out of our ball game. I agree with Kev in the fact of I don't know if we can go deep down the field. Now, we can hit Roman Wilson on a flea flicker. We can hit Cornelius Johnson on a deep dig route about 20, 25 yards down the field. But if you take our running game away and you force us to have to throw the ball 40, 50 times, can JJ do it? Plus, will JJ do it without turning the ball over?
Ding, 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 ding.
Because the times they tried to throw a lot, he threw the ball and turned the ball over.
Yeah. TCU won that game because JJ threw 2 pick sixes. Yes, the defense gave up 52. We scored 47.
So when Kev says that the deficiency is the quarterback, and then you tell him he's wrong, and then you go on to tell us about all the question marks at quarterback, what are you saying?
No, I'm not saying that Kev was 100% wrong. I was asking why he thought that he didn't make the step. I wasn't saying he was wrong. I was just asking him to clarify why he thought JJ hadn't made the step. If it was similar to reason why, I think JJ's improved. He's improved his footwork. They've opened up the passing game a little bit, but it's more. I mean, they're NFL throws. Don't get me wrong. He's throwing into tight windows. He's able to move. He can roll the pocket. He took off against Nebraska. They're running him more in the offense now. The last couple of weeks, they've added that little wrinkle into the offense. My biggest fear for Deep Michigan right now is actually on the defense. It's the secondary. The secondary right now is what scares me. Now, with that defensive line getting pressure up front and facing the offensive lines that we're going to be facing until the college football playoff, I feel confident with the defensive line. But facing the better opponents that we're going to probably facing the better offenses that this defense is going to have to face, that secondary scares me because they're just not as deep as what they've been the past couple years in the secondary. We had a couple flips, and the guy that Michigan wanted in the transfer portal ended up in Ohio State, so that one hurt. But the other fear I have for Michigan is I don't know who we're going to be until we play Penn State.
When y'all play Penn State?
Honestly, that's my biggest fear is I don't know who we are until we play Penn State.
Not till November 11th.
We can beat Nebraska 45-7. We can beat Minnesota 52-10. I don't know who we are.
What's up with Donovan Edwards, man? I just knew that. I think he's a better back than Corum, but is he
I think he's a better overall back for what Michigan does. I don't think he fits, if you want my honest opinion, and I think that's why Maulings has taken over the second running back spot, is Donovan wants a spread style, what's that called? I can't think of that offensive line blocking scheme where they basically pick and choose their hole. The old Willie Parker scheme.
Oh, zone blocking and all that?
Yeah, the zone blocking. There it is. I just forgot the word. We don't really run a zone blocking scheme. Now, there's plays that they'll run zone blocking, but they're more of a duo, pin and pull type of offensive line and run power, and that's not Donovan's game. They're trying to put him in at wider. They're trying to get him more acclimated into the wide receiver and more passing game, try to get him more yards that way. But when it's third and short, it's going to be either Blake Corum or it's going to be Maulings pounding the ball up the middle. And
well, he's the speed guy. He's the speed guy. He's the speed guy. He's the one that's going to take the top off. And he's the one he's the one I'm worried about.
If he doesn't want to hit the hole, if he doesn't want to hit the right hole, then Mike Hart and the offensive line and the OC aren't going to play. They've sat him the last 2 third quarters because he hasn't been hitting the hole. And the question was asked this morning was, Blake sat was Donovan sat because of injury, or was he sat because of not playing well? And Harbaugh not playing well. So it's not injury. He's not. No, he's going to go NFL. This is third year.
Yeah, but I mean, he's only got one good year of tape. Got one good year of tape.
No, I see all that. I mean, either way, he's gone. He's gone, and that's what my fear with next year's schedule release. That's my fear with next year is we're going to have 3 losses on that record at least. So
let's hope so.
We better win it this year. That's all I can say.
Go Bucks.
All right, Sean, good job. You made it a whole conversation without swearing. Ryan Strong said, welcome back, Shaw. Ron Howard said, go Shaw, alumni. What am I missing?
He got suspended as well. Ron got suspended.
Oh, okay. We need to get a list made. Like, no, that's not. I don't want to encourage crap. Yeah, yeah. Nope.
I can't take you nowhere, man.
Derek Asher says JJ threw it good against Bowling Green. Is that? I'm hoping that's sarcasm.
Go Falcons.
Yeah. Man.
You know, Bowling Green beat Georgia Tech, and then Georgia Tech beat Miami.
Then Bowling Green just got shut out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the Miami of Ohio.
Interesting.
Transitive properties.
Yep, that's how that works. All right, let's talk with Keith Byars, shall we? I'm excited to chat with Keith. When Keith sits down with us, we're going to dive into, of course, Ohio State and the fallout from the Maryland game, the concerns about some of their deficiencies, but also Urban Meyer, Michigan State.
Herbs.
Let's talk about that with Keith Byars, shall we? We got a lot to dive into still. More of the Kinner and Kev Show, 1410 ESPN Radio.